everybody. Welcome to episode 38 of the Intermission Podcast, the show where two film graduates discuss classic, iconic, and obscure films from times gone by. We're your hosts, Oscar W. Fitchett.
Rob Bob Ted Swid, here he is. How you doing?
Oh, that just felt so. It rolled so much there.
Good, isn't it?
That was the most.
Isn't that
was
good?
The most fluid I've ever felt. Yeah, definitely. And I'm me, Robbie. I'm on quite a bit of a cloud nine as of current
really?
moment. I'll say this now because I don't want to bog down the intermission section with this because it's not film related. So I don't want to But my God, but Silent Hill is back.
Oh,
Silent Hill is back.
Yeah.
Finally. Oh, Jesus Christ, man.
God is happy. Look at
It opened with a remake of Silent Hill 2, which I nearly cried. I got massive goosebumps. I might stick up I video myself reacting to the trailer, so I'll just I'll probably stick that on at some point, maybe now. And then there's that. And then I thought that was going to be it. And they're like, oh no, we've got another game. And we're like, you what? And it's like they got something else coming out, which is there's nothing that is barely anything. They were like, it's Annapurna doing it, and it's from these guys. So we're doing another site. It's called Townfall. So I was like, I don't know what the fuck that is. It looks a bit more story basy, you know, where it's more like point and clicky. In the sense, like, it's not a big. That's how it seems. We just got like a CGI trailer. We haven't got anything, and then we got that, and we've got a new film coming out called Return to Silent Hill, which I'm a bit skeptical about because it's the exact it's the exact same director of the first Silent Hill film, and it's the guy who's basically produced the Silent Hill films and the Resi films but he's also he's produced loads, so that's not anything to go by. But also, it's a film that apparently, when they were describing it, they were like, it's literally just going to be the game Silent Hill 2, but in a film. So I'm like, I don't know if I wanted that. So, but apparently that was the big, that was the whole reason for the Silent Hill revolution, renaissance, was because Christoph Gans, who was the director and writer, was like, I really want to do another Silent Hill film. Can I make Silent Hill 2 into a film? They were like, yeah. You know what? While we're at it, we may as well remake the second game, and we'll do everything else because we can. Cool. So I'm like, okay. So if that's the only reason why it exists, sure. And
just happy to have it. You know,
I'll go and watch it, and then they were like, and here's merchandise. We've got figurines, and we got skateboards, and we got shirts.
Okay.
It's like sure, I might buy one of those things that you advertise, and they're like, and we've got another game which is by Bad Robot Games, so J.J. Abrams has got his fingers in another franchise I like.
Jesus Christ!
Oh, that's worrying, but it seems
Get
to
out
be
of
like
here, J.J. with your grubby little paws.
It seems to be one of these games where it's more like an all online thing, and there's no. I'm like, sure, it exists. Why not? Yeah. And they were like, and we've got one more announcement. Here's a new game, and it's called Silent Hill F. And all we know about this game, Robbie, is it's set in 1960s Japan. Fascinating.
That sounds cool.
which I'm excited, but we've only got a CGI trailer that has got no in-game play footage, and we've got no date. So so I'll wait. But apparently the guy who wrote the story is really renowned. He is a guy who's wrote a lot of Japanese visual novels, and he's very... Apparently, I don't know a lot about him, but basically his style is creepy Japanese schoolgirl. So I'm like, cool, give me up. So I'm absolutely elated that Silent Hill is back. Legitimately, this time last week, I was still like, this franchise I love is just dead and nothing's ever happening. To literally the next week being like, here's 4 games and a film for you. It's like, Jesus
Christ, what the hell's going on here?
Spoiled us, so that's why I'm really happy. How are you, Robbie?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm mostly tired. I don't know. What do you want from me?
How's the weather been like over your way?
Awful. Today has been absolutely dreadful. Yeah, it's been absolutely chucking it down. I don't know. It's been generally all right. Working life is still happening. Went to see Jack D last night. That was good. I don't know. It was weird, actually. It wasn't that great. It was all right. No, it was like the second half was what you would expect from going to see Jack D, where he was like being miserable and complaining about stuff and whatever. But the first half, he was like happy-go-lucky, and I was like, this is weird. I don't know how I feel about this. And he was
I didn't
like,
come here for this.
Exactly, and he was like, he was doing jokes, but they were very much for a certain demographic because it was like, it was like making jokes about Antiques Roadshow, and the idea of giving up and buying elasticated waisted trousers and things like that. And I'm like, this is for a certain demographic, isn't it? And I don't think it's me and Julia, girlfriend of the podcast, Julia Colley. But the tickets were free.
Ah, fair.
Because they were from girlfriend's auntie of the podcast, Julia.
Jesus.
We're going that deep cut.
And if we're going to go even more bit deep cut, I was out celebrating birthday boy's birthday.
Oh yeah,
Tyler McCullough. And I was a bit embarrassed, I'll say, by the next morning. I was like, God, as if that happened.
Christ.
But one thing I will say is that that is relevant to the podcast is I was talking to Team Oscar member Cafe de More's own Jessica May, and to which she at first she said to me, she said that she would definitely want merch. So I'm like,
nice.
So so I don't know how I get into that, but you know, again, as I said, if you really want merch, just DM me and I can give you my details and you can pay me for it. So
yeah, he's the only guy that does it. All right.
So
and I'm the only guy that owns any. It's just me.
Exactly, exactly. So, but to which she said to me at first, she went, "Oh, I picked Team Robbie because I assume." I went, "No, you didn't. You picked Team Oscar." And she went, "Did I?" I went, "Yeah." It went, "Oh, well," but apparently she was gonna say, but she said to me, she was gonna pick Team Robbie because she thought everyone else would be choosing Team Oscar.
Whoa! What the fuck? Excuse me.
So she was gonna do it more so like she was feeling bad for you.
Well, yeah, that's a sympathy vote.
But she didn't. But she did anyway. She stuck with her heart and actually went with Team Oscar. To which I went like, wow. Do you know? To which then I mentioned to her, do you know what's funny? Tyler is Team Robbie, and she was shocked by that, as was Kate. And then there was and do you know why? Because Tyler said Robbie's cooler than me, and they laughed at that.
What? Right, this is fucking slander. Is this what happens? I miss out on one party. I don't come to one party. And all of a sudden, because I'm the fucking breadwinner of the podcast, all right, I'm the one putting food on this goddamn table.
I also want to say, if I want to peel back the curtain, you're also the one delaying recordings. Is all I'm saying.
I want to make a formal apology to all staff, including in the Intermission Podcast, that being you and Lewis. I'm very sorry. I keep having to push it back. I have a proposal though.
Right.
I think we should start recording on a weekend.
I'm okay with this, and we only didn't start doing that because you said to me, I want me weekends, so maybe let's not.
That was dumb. That was a dumb thing to say. Because I've been thinking about this. I stay in Leeds on a Monday and Tuesday night, right? So I can't do anything on a Monday and a Tuesday because I don't, until I have a flat there myself, I don't have my recording equipment with me.
Yeah.
And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Friday night, realistically, we can't record because the podcast has to go out on Saturday. So we've got Wednesday and Thursday. All I need is to be late home from work on one of those evenings, and the whole thing's gone. Also, the whole thing's gone to shit. Also, when I get home from work, it's usually like, I don't know, 7 o'clock. Then I need to have my tea, and then like I've got like 2 hours to myself before I need to go to sleep to go for work again the next morning. It's just not feasible.
Well, we've done most of it like this.
Yeah, we've done most of it like this. We've got one more episode.
But like,
when do we come back after Halloween?
It's for the Christmas special.
Oh, is it? Is it that long a gap?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We'll have my Marvel video in between, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Because that's going to be coming out when Black Panther comes out, whenever that is.
Yeah. I want to have a bit of a meeting with you. We can do that like after the Halloween special. We can have a bit of just a meeting. But a video call where we don't have to record, so we can.
Oh, that'd be good, wouldn't it?
So we could just
God blimey.
But legitimately, this is exactly what happened. Because again, I don't know if you know this about me, Robbie. Well, because obviously you know I'm autistic. I don't make that a secret. But I don't know. But a lot of people know I'm autistic, but they don't. They go, but you don't see me. Like nothing really like is or I'm like, right. Let me explain to you what is specifically autistic about me. Is that if I have something planned and it gets changed immediately last minute, I go really angry, and then I'm just I'm by myself with that moment. But this is exactly what happened because I was in a boot camp thing yesterday where you messaged me. And keep in mind, I had to watch RAN because it's a 2-hour and 40-minute film. I had to watch this on the Tuesday because I'm like, well, I might not have time to fit it in on the Wednesday. So I watched it on the Tuesday and then the boot camp and then record with Robbie, which then Robbie doesn't message me because Robbie's Robbie.
Because I'm terrible at messaging.
Because this is Robbie, which is I've grown to accept this. And I'm with Leo Bradley, boyfriend of the podcast, in this on the Wednesday, and then to which Leo tells me something that you said. I go, "Are you messaging right now?" And he went, "Yeah." And I went, "Fucking tell him to look at his messages from me," because he's not.
It's because it's Facebook Messenger. I don't know what it is about Facebook Messenger in my brain. I see a notification come through, and I go, and then I don't.
But you have specifically told me that it's best with me message you on Messenger because you know that's my primary form of Messenger.
That's the thing. So, that's the thing. Now that we've unlocked Snapchat as a means of communication, I now go, well, if it's really important, I'll Snapchat me.
Now I'll know that. So what ended up happening was later on this Wednesday afternoon, I get a message from Robbie saying, shit, sorry, can't do tonight. Have to be a Thursday job. Keep in mind, I had also a meeting arranged tonight with Lewis's band. I won't do all the days, but basically, so Robbie changed the schedule, which is, not something I was like this. I'm 50% sure this is going to happen.
Yeah.
I was even thinking that Monday. I was like, I'm 50% sure we're going to have to end up doing this on a Thursday. And to which I saw the message and I went like this. And then Leo was like, what? And I went, he's delayed the message. He's delayed the recording again. And Leo started laughing. And then I was like, Leo, my instant reaction was, if he was in person, I would slap him. But I know I wouldn't do that. And he went like, to which then Leo went, I mean, yeah, no, he always does this, but then you see his face, and then you just can't get angry at him, and it's because the thing is with you when you go, because I've had it before where mates have changed things on me last minute, and the reaction that I usually have had when mates have changed things last minute, they go, oh yeah, I can't do it, sorry, or they go, nah, not doing it. Yeah. Or like it becomes so nonchalant. But with you, Robert, you always go, shit, I'm sorry. And I'm like, right. You know what you've done, and you're also annoyed at yourself. So I can't be mad at this.
It's because every time I do it, I'm genuinely upset.
That's what I mean.
Like when I'm at work and I see a message come through, and then it clocks in my head that I can't record that night, I get real sad. And I had to message back, be like, I'm so sorry, man.
So the instant reaction of me is always anger, but then I know it's you, and I'm like, I can't. It's an uncontrollable situation. It's what it is. You can't help it. So that's that. I think that's the furthest we pulled back the curtain on the Intermission Podcast.
Do you know how I watched RAN today?
How did you watch RAN?
I was at work, and we get 1 till 2 for lunch. My dad set the alarm off in his shed. Sorry if anyone can hear that. He set the alarm off in his own shed.
We can't hear it.
Oh, good. So we get 1 till 2 for lunch break. And I took a 5-minute lunch. so I ran downstairs, grabbed some food, and then ran back up and locked myself in an edit suite for an hour to watch an hour of this movie to then come home to only have like an hour and a half left to watch or whatever. And I left work early-ish to watch the rest of it when I got back.
And with that being said, should we move into this?
Yeah, let's get bloody talking about it, shall we?
So, as we've just been said, the film that we are talking about this week for our season finale, season 4 finale, in my opinion, my favourite season of the Intermission.
I tend to agree.
Is the 1985 Shakespearean Samurai Epic RAN. The film is directed by Akira Kurosawa, written by Akira Kurosawa, Hideo Oguni, and Masato Ide, and is based on the play King Lear by William Shakespeare. Although wasn't intentionally meant to be based on there. Got a few factoids in a bit. The film stars Tatsuya Nakadai, Akira Terao, Jinpachi Nezu, Daisuke Ryu, Mieko Harada, Yoshiko Miyazaki, Hisashi Igawa, and Peter. Spelled P-I-T-A, not just Peter.
Yeah, just Peter.
The plot synopsis of the film, according to IMDb, is in medieval Japan, an elderly warlord retires, handing over his empire to his 3 sons. However, he vastly underestimates how the newfound power will corrupt them and cause them to turn on each other and him. Accolades the film holds, it has a 96% on the tomato meter and an audience score of 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. It has a score of 8.2 out of 10 on IMDb, placed it at number 135 on their top 250 films of all time. And it has a score of 4.4 out of 5 stars on Letterboxd, placing it at number 35 on their top 250 films of all time. It was nominated for 1 Golden Globe for Best Foreign Film. It was nominated for 2 César Awards, including Best Poster and Best Foreign Film. It was nominated for 6 BAFTA Awards, including Best Production Design, Best Costume Design, Best Cinematography, Best Adapted Screenplay, and won 2 BAFTAs for Best Makeup Artist for Tamayuki Aimi and Chihako Naito, and it also won Best Foreign Language Film. And it was nominated for 4 Academy Awards, including Best Art Direction for Yoshihiro Muraki and Shinobu Muraki, Best Cinematography for Takao Saito, Soji Ueda, and Azakazu Nakai, and Best Director for Akira Kurosawa. And it won 1 Academy Award for Best Costume Design for Emi Wada. So,
nice.
This is the first time, Robbie. This is the first time since. When was the last? I'm sure we did this recently.
We've done a film where you hadn't seen it.
We saw, Kramer versus Kramer. But I'm sure, did we do a film recently where we 7 Year Itch? We both hadn't seen the 7 Year Itch.
Yeah.
So, this is a film. But we both haven't seen this film. This is the first time both of us are watching this. But This is now the 3rd Akira Kurosawa film that we have talked about within the podcast. The other 2 being Seven Samurai and The Hidden Fortress. I was wanting to do a film from the 50s that he did, but not a samurai film, or one of his colour samurai films from later. And High and Low was a bit more hard to get hold of in the UK. So I thought, well, let's just do RAN. I've got the Blu-ray for that. And yes, big fans of Akira Kurosawa. Robbie, your thing with this.
Man, are we going to me straight away for thoughts and stuff? Holy shit! Wow. Okay. God, that's thrown me off so bad. My goodness. I'd never seen this. I don't know nothing about nothing. I know Akira Kurosawa from from Seven Samurai. I know that he was a big inspiration on a lot of people, including George Lucas and such things. I didn't know he made films this late in his life. Like, he kept going for quite some time. I didn't know I wouldn't have assumed that he would have had any films in color. And so I watched this, and I've loved most all the samurai films we've done, to be honest. I can't think of one that I didn't like. I wasn't big on, was it Hidden Fortress?
Yeah.
I wasn't big on that. And this one, I'm kind of torn on, to be honest.
Okay.
I think I love the idea of it. It's very like, I love the like inner working politics things, and there's some very, very interesting characters in it, which I appreciated a lot. And the story is very good. If a bit bloated, I think there's no need for it to be as long as it is. I feel like you could get the same story out of this with it being like an hour and 45. It didn't really need to be this long. And I will say that cinematography wise and stuff, samurai films not in black and white just don't look as good, I guess, because this just doesn't look very nice. I don't know what it is. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if that's like sacrilege, but it kind of looked like a TV movie. I don't know.
I think that may be genuine blasphemy that you've just said there.
Yeah, it might be. I don't know, but I just don't think it looked very good. I'm sorry.
Well,
yeah, sorry everyone.
This is genuinely one of the greatest films I feel like I've ever seen in my entire life.
What? What the fuck?
When this film ended, I was like, that could easily crack top 10 of all time for me.
What?
Like that.
What the fuck is going on? What? Sorry. What?
I don't prefer the Seven Samurai. I still think Seven Samurai
Good.
is, but this is genuinely, by the end of this film, I was like, I felt like there's very few times where I feel like I've watched a film that I've just watched legitimately one of the greatest pieces of film ever. And this was one of the instances where like the film ended. I was like, that is without a doubt unbiased. Like if I would have to put like an unbiased top 10,
yeah,
like it, like in terms of not favorites, greatest, I was like, that is easily within the top 10 greatest films I've ever seen in my life.
What?
I genuinely fucking loved this film, Robbie. I absolutely adored it. And again, and yes, and I would say it is my favorite film we've talked about this season, without a doubt. And it would be it's not my favorite film we've talked about within the intermission, because we talked about 12 Angry Men and The Godfather. But it would be up there, like within the top 5 of the best films we've talked about for me, honestly.
I cannot believe this. I cannot fathom this. It was all right. I don't know. What?
I genuinely don't know what it was. Again, how I can't remember which. Sometime this season, I talked about. I've talked about many films that we've discussed. That film is just a feeling for me. I think I talked about The Umbrellas of Cherbourg, where I'm like, I don't know what it is, but I just, even if you're like, this didn't make sense. So I'm not saying like about with RAN specifically, but even if you're like, but that just wasn't that great. I'm like, I don't know what it is. I watched the film and I'm just like, fuck yeah. It just really hit. It just really hit and connected with me. I don't know. It was genuinely a film like how when I was watching it and there was so many different imageries, like shots where I was like, fuck, this is why I like watching film. Like it was like that, not just like, oh, this is why I like watching this type of genre, or like, oh, this is why I like watching this director's films. It's like, no, this is why I like watching film for moments where I'm watching something like this for the first time and the feelings I get watching it for the first time. I could have watched this. I could have watched an hour more of this. I feel like it being the length it is kind of like essential for the feeling that it is.
Okay.
With it, and again, we get more in depth with it in terms of, but like the best. I'll say this. You know how I said to you after I watched the Batman, how I was like, even though the Batman's 3 hours long, I didn't feel like I just watched a big epic film. I felt like I just watched a mini series, but just like that was the thing. Like, watching RAN, I felt like I just watched a 25 episode anime miniseries. Like, I felt like I just, like, the feelings that I got when I just binged through Cowboy Bebop, or were more apt when I binged through Berserk. Like, that was the feeling of, like, I got, like, all this grandeur. And it's, again, there's a lot of epicness to it, but I got a lot of grandeur, and there were so many different characters and different plots that weaved into one that I felt like I was, like, really satisfied with everything with it. Like, from, like, feeling like I didn't feel like I just watched The Lord of the Rings. Again, I felt like I just binged through Berserk. Like, that's, like, the feeling that I got with it.
I didn't get that at all. I don't know. I was just like, yeah, it's okay. I mean, I kind of, like, I thought the whole way through, like, I kind of knew where it was going to go. And then it went there, and I was like, all right. I don't know. I like when I first met when you first meet the old guy, the dad.
Let me get the characters' names.
Yeah, get the characters' names up.
Hidatora.
Yeah. When he first shows up, fantastic, by the way. The
Tatsuya Nakadai once again given a fucking.
He's good in this.
Outstanding type.
He's not my favorite character. I'll get on to my favorite character.
No.
I have two favorite characters. One's kind of a joke answer, I guess. But the when he's first introduced, what I love about him, that I hope that in my life I get to a point like that guy, where when I'm sick of what people are saying or they're saying a bad thing, I could just pretend to go to sleep. He does that pretty early doors in this. He just kind of zonks out, and everyone's like, "Is he dead?" I also love that. I love that every time he like stumbles a little bit, everyone's like, "Whoa!"
Yeah,
like he's made of fucking glass or something. But like as soon as I met him, I was like, okay, this guy sucks. He's a bad dude. And he's done all these horrible things to lots of people because he's a horrible warlord. And he's going to give the power to his sons. And he does. He gave the power to his sons. And I was like, okay. So those sons are now going to be bad blokes. And he's going to continue to be a bad bloke. And then the first time that he meets someone that he wronged in his past, I was like, okay, so I guess this is going to be like karma's catching up with him. And there's talk of Buddhism and stuff like that. And that's kind of all Buddhism stuff. And then I was like, by the end, they're all gonna be dead because power and stuff corrupts and whatever.
You see, yes, I could agree with that, but it was specific elements where I was like, I was surprised how some things played out. It was because obviously the Taro was the eldest, and he was the one given the first thing, and the way everything was starting to play out in that first moment, in my head, I was like, right, I'll say we'll talk narrative stuff and then talk everything else. That's how we'll break this down.
Okay.
Because I feel like that'll be easier. Otherwise, we're going to be fucking all over the place. I feel like, because my initial thing, I was like, oh, it's going to be a thing where Taro and Jiro hang on a minute.
Oh.
Who's
this calling?
Hi, Oscar. It's your best friend, Martin Scorsese.
It's Martin Scorsese.
What a surprise! Genuinely.
Is it?
I mean, I should expect it by this point, shouldn't I? How you doing, Marty?
Forget about it. I'm doing all right.
Nice.
You're doing all right. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Robbie is here as well. Do you want to say hello to him?
Nah.
Okay.
Right. Good. Well,
what have you got to share for us this week, Marty?
Hope it's better than The Irishman.
Well, my neighbor Marlon Brando has been scrapped.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Leo got really pissy about it.
Oh, that's genuinely devastated.
What a bitch.
Yeah.
What else have you got in the pipeline?
Stuff.
Okay.
Shark Tale 2.
Robbie asked, is Shark Tale 2 a thing?
Tell Robbie to shut the fuck up.
Fuck you, Martin Scorsese, you fucking bitch.
Calls you a fucking bitch. I would like to relay that information. But one thing I want to say, we're currently this week we're talking about the Akira Kurosawa film RAN. Are you familiar with this, Marty?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What do you think of this? What do you think of this film?
It's pretty good. Yeah, I like it. Cinema.
It is cinema. Okay, nice one. It's based on the Shakespeare play King Lear. Is that something that you're familiar with?
Yep.
Is that cinema?
No, it's theater.
It's.
Yeah, I mean, you asked for that, didn't you? Really?
I did touche. One thing I want to ask Mai, because you cut out last week, so I just want to try get your answer to this question once again to see if we can get an answer. Obviously, you said that Grave of the Fireflies was cinema, and obviously now RAN is cinema. I asked you if anime was cinema, and you said yes, but you're a weeb if you like it. And I asked you the question, Mai, is Martin Scorsese a weeb? And you phone the line cut out, so I want to get the answer this time, if that's okay, Mai. Are you a weeb?
Martin Scorsese is not a weeb.
Why did you speak in the third person?
Oh no, the line! Oh God, not again! Oh, is that Leo? Oh, I gotta go. Oh God.
Okay. Bye, Marty.
Bye.
Fucking hate that guy. I fucking hate that guy. That guy sucks.
Well, Martin Scorsese is not a weeb. We've heard it here.
Martin Scorsese is not a weeb, turns out. Confirmed.
And, Shark Tale seems to be quite a sensitive subject to him there.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm going to keep bringing it up. He shouldn't have done it, quite frankly. Fuck that guy.
Right. Yes. Where was I? That's right. Okay. So I thought how it was going. In the sense of I thought it was going to be like. I'm sorry. I'm really.
So is he trying to get back on track after Martin Scorsese?
Hang on a minute. I need.
Oh God, I hate that guy so much.
What's your issue with Martin Scorsese? Then we'll get back to RAN.
He's such a piece of shit. He rings this podcast every week like a fucking fan would. He comes on and he just gives me abuse. We let him on the show. We give him a fucking platform, and he just comes on and berates me every single week without fail.
He did do it the first time he called in.
He's a piece of shit, man. It'd be fine if he still made good movies.
Hey, now.
Well, come on now. We'll see about this. We'll see about this. Whatever of the flower something.
Next time he calls in, I'll ask him. I'll ask him about how the Irishman was made. Or some shit.
Yeah, we'll ask him something about the Irishman and why it's so goddamn boring. Jesus.
We need to get the setup to where he can call into the Skype call itself. We need to almost get that.
We need to get him on the Skype call.
And then, yeah. But anyway, okay. RAN, this is what I was saying.
Yeah, go on.
What I thought was going to be happening was, obviously, Taro was given leadership and Jiro was behind him. And then Saburo, the younger, was very like, nah, fuck you. My initial thought was like, is this going to be like Saburo is going to end up being the catalyst for the conflict? That was my original thought. I was like, okay, because again, Taro and Jiro seemed fine. They seemed chill. They seemed, these are nice. These are nice blokes. Then but it was one of these things like, okay, once Taro was in power, you could see the totem tipping and stuff, and then it looked like Jiro was going to be the more level-headed one. But then when the power lines switched, then again, it was like, oh, Jiro is much more worse than anything would have been in this. To which, that to me, by that point, when Saburo was again, you hear he's gone from the rest of the first act, he's gone from the second act, and he comes in on the third act. Which to me, again, this is where that almost felt like, again, I'm watching a show, and then it gets to episode episode 18 in the season. It goes and Saburo's here. What? And then what? And then to me, that's what the feeling that I got with it within that. And so it was almost like it gave me expectations, but then they changed them for storylines that I was still going to be familiar with. But I don't think any of it, it was never like boring for me. Like even if I could see what was going to happen, I was not bored with waiting for that plot to happen.
Right, okay.
Like, yeah, I don't know. Like, again, when you look, actually, not loads happened in this 2 hour and 40-minute film.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Which I definitely felt that it was a long film, but it was more so because, for me, I think, to me, there was never a dull moment. There was never a moment where I was like, can we just fast forward? Like, it's like we got moments where it was like, now we've got a whole section with Taro in the castle. Or like, then now we've got a section with Hidatora, like going from another castle. And now, now we've got a whole section with Jiro try and work his whole shit out. And then we've got the big battle, like one of the big battles, which, Jesus fucking Christ, I want it. Like, that's a scene and a half, my guy. That's a Jesus Christ. So that's
a scene, my guy.
That's a scene. Not that's cinema. That's a scene. You need to do like the cheesy salute when you're doing it as well.
One of them.
So it's because it was to me. This is where it comes into where it almost felt like I was watching an episodic miniseries. Is that it's not like we followed Hidatora for the whole nin of 3 hours. We would go through like 10 minutes or so without seeing Tatsuya Nakadai.
Yeah, that's true.
And then we'll be like, and then it would be this whole like other mini story of like Lady Kaeda trying to like get Jiro to like Lady Macbeth is fucking like Sue. And it's like, so it was like, oh, there's that little bit as well. And she's got a whole history because the main castle was her family's castle. And Hidatora was like, he killed, and he did all that shit. And that's his castle. And so there's that bit. But then we also then cut back to like Hidatora trying to like do. So to me, although there is that story of like sons, you know, and all that, you've still got all this other different shit that's also happening. To me, that is also just as interesting.
Yeah, I mean, like that stuff. I like how it. I like how this film implies a history before the film started. I think that's really well done. And getting finally onto the subject of who is essentially the Lady Macbeth of this whole dealio. She was probably the most interesting character to me.
Yeah.
Very easily. That scene that she has where she's just screaming for no reason, she's laughing and
right after she held a knife to Jiro. Yeah.
When she's just like laughing and slamming the doors and shit. That's so cool.
And then they fuck.
And then they fuck out of nowhere.
It's such a power move, man. It's so like, but then I think like this film is Kurosawa maybe one of the best filmmakers for characters, for writing characters.
It's quite possibly, yeah.
Because obviously he's not the only screenwriter in his writing team, but that was a big reason for our love of Seven Samurai.
Yeah.
When thinking back to Hidden Fortress, the characters were a big part of that enjoyment.
Yeah.
And even thinking about this, it's like, again, you've obviously got Hidatora, who initially is the most, you know, he's the fascinating one. But then you've got Taro, Jiro, Saburo, who are all three very different types of characters, and all three very defined characters in the sense of like, okay, I can see where you can go, and I can see where you can go, and I can see where you can go. But then you've got other characters spurting off that. Again, you've got Lady Kaeda, and then you've got Lady Sue, who very well could have just been Jiro's wife. But then you find out, she's got history in the sense of like Hidatora burnt her family's castle. But then she's also got a brother who's living out in a wood, who's blind from getting his eyes gouged out, and then so you got like you've got another mini history of there being a thing. But then you've also got like goddamn what's his name, Kiyomi, basically the jester, who's just the perfect side character.
This dude, right? Okay, so this is the one that I wanted to talk about because he's my joke answer for the best character in the movie. What is the point in this guy? Why has he not been murdered yet? Was my question surrounding him. All he does, right, is run around like a little prick.
Yeah.
Jumping around, squatting and shouting at people. And then he follows who is essentially the king around.
Yeah.
And then just sings songs about how much of a fucking idiot he is to his face. And I'm like, why have you not been murdered yet? Why the fuck do people keep him around?
But that's what I almost like that, because it's like, well, there must be a reason then. It's like, it was almost like, you're a bitch, but then people are like, fine, we'll just deal with him. It's fine, whatever.
I don't get it. It's the bit when he's like, God, what's his name? The main warlord dude.
Hidetora.
Yeah, when he's gone
Tatsuya
mental.
Nakadai. Yeah.
When he's gone mental, right? When he's like actually lost his mind for some reason, because his castle burns down or something. When he loses
the
his
third
mind,
castle, yeah, the third.
Yeah, the guy starts singing a song.
Yeah,
not the time, dude. Stop it. What are you doing?
Trying to lift spirit. He's trying to lift spirits.
No, he's not. He's trying to be a prick. He's basically singing around going, "Ooh, the king's lost his head. What a fucking idiot." It's like, dude, just fucking. Can you leave him alone for like 2 minutes? Jesus Christ.
But then what's his guy? No, that's not him. Who is it? It's Tango.
Yeah.
Who's also, again, not a massive character, but when I saw him ride it up, I was like, oh shit, yeah. This guy.
This fucking guy.
And then he's trying to like show away Koami, being like, can you just fuck off for a bit?
Yeah.
It's like, you got like a nice little like trio in that regard as well. And who's it? Kurogane. That's the other character I was gonna shout out. Who is again? This film, in my opinion, has so many stories and so many characters to where someone could have just pitched one of those as a film.
Yeah.
Like, someone could have solely pitched the Jiro story and be like, this is the story we're going for.
Yeah.
And that's it. But then we've got another one going. But again, these characters, again, the Kurogane character is like, so, again, he's fascinating in the sense of like, he killed Taro, which again, I'll get that scene. I'll probably get the scene in a bit. He killed him, which is wild. And then, he's been ordered to kill Sue. And then he just, in one of my favorite scenes in the whole film, he brings this, what's presumably the head of Sue.
Yeah.
Leaves it. Allows the unboxing to take place. And then Kaeda is like, what is it? And it's just like a beheaded stone statue of a fox with just salt all around it. Yeah. He goes, and to which Kurogane just goes, oh, she turned into a fox. That's weird.
Great banter.
Weird. And she's like, she's like, how dare you insult us? It's like, well, this has been known to happen. And then he just goes through a general mythology, and then he ends his conversation by looking at Jiro and going like, make sure you don't be made a bitch out of, mate. And then he just leaves.
Yeah. Excellent stuff. You can't argue with it. It's a straight up power play.
Well, there was another line he said. It was like right before they were about like head off to like possible battle. He goes like, a warlord has never submitted to a woman or something like that. He basically went, dude, don't be whipped. He's
basically being like Andrew Tate. He's being like, dude, you're being a total fucking beta male right now. Come on.
But yeah.
Oh, Christ.
I'll talk about that scene that I was going to say.
Yeah,
God, it's weird how like you're not as hot on this film, because I feel like I'm gonna unload my enthusiasm and it's just not gonna be massively reciprocated. But here we go.
That's fine, man. I'll absorb it.
It's, to me, when I'm gonna think of like best film scenes that I have personally seen, I'm going to think of that like third castle invasion as one of them, from purely everything that is involved in filmmaking. When I think of like not just like, oh, emotional. It's like a really well-written moment. It's just when I think of something that is such a incredible film achievement, that scene is going to stick out in my head in so many ways. For the fact that they had an actual fucking castle just burnt down. There was, I had a little look at the trivia. Robbie, there's no miniatures in this film. There was 0 miniatures in this film whatsoever.
All of that was built.
All of it was built, and all of it was that real size.
Dear Christ.
You've got that, but you've got not only like I'm looking at an actual fucking medieval Japanese castle, which is already impressive. Which is already impressive as it is, with really authentic costumes. And I'm a big fan of the Hirotora makeup, I will say. It's clearly makeup, but I love how this whole film, I love the style of it. Absolutely love the style and the aesthetic of it, because it just looks so stylistic, but it fits so well in. Like, you can see his makeup's painted on. You can see, like, I think Tatsuya Nakadai was like I'm trying to think. He would have been like in his 50s, early 50s. So he's getting made up to look like he's in his 70s, and it's not like a Gary Oldman like Gary Oldman The Darkest Hour or anything like that. It's like it's very theatrical, but the way, again, the film is so vibrant and so fictional that just works. And when you talk about vibrancy, my God, the gore in this film, I love so much. Again, I'm a big fan of gore in film.
Yes.
Like, again, there's always something about when I'm watching Kill Bill, no matter how long it takes, how long I don't watch it for, as soon as I watch it, for some reason, and again, I've explained this many times in this, over the intermission, I just love like Japanese culture, and I love Japanese storytelling, and specifically I love the samurai genre. And there's just something like, I don't know what it is. I haven't quite emotionally found why it's so ingrained into me, but there's it's like, like the feeling that you get whenever the helicopter shot in Jurassic Park starts, and you're like, I'm going to cry. And then the theme starts. There's just something, it's like a Pavlovian reaction or something like that.
Yeah.
There's certain samurai imagery that I just see that, like, it just makes me, I don't know what it is. It just makes me emotional. And there's, again, or like when it's like gore, or like certain like samurai related gore or something as well. Like whenever there's just fountains of blood in Kill Bill, like I just get emotional, and I don't know why. It's like happy emotion. I just feel really giddy, like that Oren Ishii fight and the bride fight in the snow. I get emotional. I'm like, I don't know what it is. And there's moments where I'm just seeing, like, it's when it becomes like the sound effects are gone, and we just get that score playing, and we're just hearing the music, and we're seeing carnage. And it's moments where it's like you see, and it's not like, and then we cut, and there's an arrow in someone's chest. I don't know how they did it. You see an arrow go into people. I'm like, how the fuck did that happen?
Maybe they just shot those guys with arrows.
That's what I mean. There's moments
maybe they killed guys on this set. I don't know.
It looks that's what I mean. It's like there's just cameras, and you're seeing people fall off horses, and I'm like, how there's that one moment where a guy gets, I think, shot off a horse, and he's led there, and then there's horses coming towards him, and they're jumping over him. I'm like, oh my God, his head is so close to just being stomped on. I'm like, where's the risk assessment?
Squash like a goddamn watermelon in a slow-mo guy's YouTube video.
Yeah, and I don't know what, and it's like the blood it's just paint. Yeah. It is legit just paint.
It's vibrant red.
But I don't know why. It's when it became like really like just static imagery, where like it was like a bit post the carnage, and you just saw so many people just laid out, and the blood's, it's not like they've just done a little bit of red paint on their hands and their arms. It's dripping. It's pouring out. And I'm like, this is some of the most gorgeous imagery I'm seeing in my entire fucking life. That to the point where I am starting to feel like I'm like welling up watching it. Because I'm like,
because you're a lunatic.
It's not the fact that, but it's yeah, exactly. I'm a maniac.
Because you're a fucking maniac watching dead bodies and going, this is Oh, it's
This
beautiful.
is beautiful. This is beautiful. This is some of the most beautiful stuff I've ever seen. It's not the fact I'm seeing death, but it's like the violence is portrayed in such this beauty that I'm looking at. I'm like, this is again. It's a sound fucking wanky or whatever. A lot of people usually try throw films and go, oh, that belongs in an art gallery, and that you could freeze that frame and you could hang that as a painting. To me, this is one of the very few times where I watch a film I go like, I feel like I'm in a museum just looking at like historical art in like the way it visually just looks. It just unlocks something in my brain to where like that's the emotion that's being elicited. Like that's being evoked. That, and again, it's like, and then I think as well because it's quite an overwhelming turning point in the story where it's like, oh, Hidatora is now fucked. And and again, music, only music. Taro gets shot in the back, and then I'm like, wait a minute, that was Taro. Hang on a minute, and then Jiro's just like, oh, what the fuck? And then like Kuragana just rides up next to me, goes like, just holding a smoking gun. He goes, Taro's dead. There was like just like a rogue shot. Yeah. And then they look, and then they just look at the gun, and then he just tosses it, and he goes, oh my God. Like there was so many moments, like, and that was one of them where I legit went, like my face dropped. I was like, nah. Oh no! Oh fuck!
Oh shit!
I think I legit audibly went, "That's mad." and again, I don't know what it is. I think it is because I am just an absolute geek for samurai genre stuff. Ghost of Tsushima made me cry so many times, again for similar reasons to where I just got really happy. So I think everyone has those just base. It's like, oh, I just need this simple. If you just nail this, I don't need anything massive or extravagant. I just need something so simple from this specific type of thing, and I'm fine. Again, some people have that with like dance. Some people have like, all I just need is like a certain dance, like in a ballet, and that's fine. Like my mum's like that. Like there's like Strictly's on, and there's moments where I walk in, and I walked in like the other way. I don't give a shit about Strictly Come Dancing, but my mum loves it, and which is, people are baffled because I did Latin and ballroom dancing. I don't give a fuck about Strictly Come Dancing though. So, but like I walked in, and I just like say something to my mum, and my mum, I can't remember exactly what she said, but she basically went like, I've just watched something really incredible. Do you want to watch it? And I went like, I'm okay. I can't stay. But like, so there's different things like that. So to me,
something will just do it for someone.
And this film has loads of those moments for me.
Yeah.
Like, not not like, it's not just like, oh, there's this one moment that really does it. It's like the film started and I'm like, God, it's like, I just got overwhelmed seeing samurai on horses.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's just something about that just really like, and again, I think it's done in such a really pristine way of like, again, I love black and white samurai films and that. But to me, there's just something about samurai in color that just really like, it's like breathtaking. I don't like, black and white samurai is cool and it's really cool and atmospheric.
Yeah.
Like Japanese things in color with that type of architecture and stuff like that, it's just cool to me.
That's fair enough.
I just need to double check something.
Yeah.
Why are we apparently only been recording for 12 minutes?
Oh no. Oscar, no.
Why did that? Oh, no, hang on a minute. That's today. Oh, no, we've got a recording that ended about, like, at 5 to 10. So I don't know why it stopped and did another recording, but I think we're okay.
That's weird.
But, yeah, okay. I'll figure that out. Yeah. But, yeah, there.
Bizarre.
But that's just, like, a moment in this film. I think, do you know what specifically listened to me? That one scene moment. Again, I'll get my thing and then I'll let you speak because I don't want to just be me gushing.
That's right.
I'm not sure if I mentioned it on the podcast, but my earliest memory in life is sitting on the potty watching Fantasia.
Fair enough.
That's my earliest memory in life. I just remember watching The Sorcerer's Apprentice, being like barely able, being a toddler, just seeing like do 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 do, and to me, and that was like the first film I've ever seen in my life. And to me, I think I owe a lot. And I watched that back recently, like Fantasia, like a year or two ago, and I'm like, this explains so much to the type of films I like, because it's not.
Oh right, okay.
It's not the generic Disney flick.
Yeah,
it's Walt Disney being an artsy fartsy motherfucker, and that's what it's Walt Disney making his own pretentious bullshit is what he did.
Yeah,
and I'm like, that explains things to me, and I think because there's obviously within that film obviously it's just animation and just classic music. There's no sound effects or anything. And I think there was a part in my brain that watching the third Castle Invasion that elicited that moment where it was just nothing but the music and just gorgeous imagery to me that like also unlocked that bit of me where it's like I feel like I'm watching film for the first time in my life again.
Jesus Christ.
Well, like again, there was something about this film, Robbie. I don't know what it is, but just again, when I watched this film and then when it ended, I'm like, this is why I love watching film. It just really did so. And again, I could totally imagine myself. I've already started because I watched a few like imagery. I watched like, like those like reactions where like someone watches a film and they do a confirmation thing. I'm not sure if you know.
Yeah.
It's a guy called James versus Cinema. I think is where it's like
I don't know,
where it's like filmmaker reacts to blank for the first time, and so I watched some of his stuff, and he had like a thing on RAN. So I watched that to just refresh myself on this, lean into this discussion, and even just watching some shots, and I'm like, God, I'm gonna revisit this in a year, and I'm gonna be like, this is gonna be like in my top 10 favorites. Like at the like that's just the feeling I get with this.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is the emotions that a scene gave me in
Dear
RAN.
God.
I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, it's alright. I don't know. I didn't even like. I don't know. Like to me, this is not. I would say, it is if I was to rank the samurai films we've done on this podcast, which are the only samurai films I've ever seen.
5, I think, isn't it? We've seen.
Yeah.
Samurai, Harakiri. 5. Yeah, 5.
It would probably be second from bottom.
Okay. We'll be
if I was to, come on now.
Hidden Fortress. Yeah.
Yeah. Come on, we all know.
Hidden Fortress is a good time, but it's also
I don't know. Actually, maybe not. I don't know. There's not been one that I've like disliked. Hidden Fortress is fine. It's not like I don't get angry about it. It's okay. And this for me is kind of that. But then I would say it is probably, I would put it on a level with Harakiri, in the sense that I find Harakiri quite dull. It's a bit slow.
It's that's a bleak film.
Yeah,
that's a bleak film.
Whereas this isn't as bleak, and I think it has more enjoyable elements to it. But I don't know, something to me. I think when you were saying earlier about how the characters are so distinct and stuff to you, I didn't have any distinction between the brothers at all.
Right. Okay.
When I was watching,
apart from what kimono color they were wearing, what color
exactly. Yeah, I was just kind of like, they're all kind of doing the same thing anyway. I don't know. They're all kind of the same. I mean, the youngest brother is
Saburo.
Saburo is kind of like, he's kind of a rebel and whatever. But then you don't see him for most of the movie anyway. So the two that are left are they're mostly the same to me. I see it as like, the first one gets given the power, and then he's angry, and the other one is also angry, and then they swap, and one of them dies, and they remain angry. I don't know. They don't stand out to me as being like, like iconic, distinct characters.
I can understand that. The thing that I thought, like with you, because obviously, the thing that has drawn you in to samurai genre generally is almost like the lore of samurai. almost, and I thought like, well, there's a lot of like what would have when watching this, I wasn't sure like how you would have thought of the film.
Yeah.
But one thing I thought like maybe you would have like at least been like, oh, I can get on board with that. Is like almost the fact of like you've got almost like different sections of like world building.
No,
like we can go to the castle, but then there's also this one guy like in a cabin off to one side.
Well, that I think is probably the strongest part of this for me. Is the different kind of the different. I don't know if it's just because I've been watching the show for the first time, but it felt kind of Game of Thronesy.
No, I can agree.
There was the main clan and what they had going on and the infight in there, but then there was also like this other lady who was living in the castle. And she's trying to worm her way into the family to break it apart from the inside. Like, she has her own reasoning for things. And then there's this other lady who's also been done over in a similar way to the other lady.
But she took Buddhism.
She took the other way and just was like, it's all chill, man, don't worry about it, Buddhism. And then her brother is like a blind dude that just lives in the dark in the woods or whatever.
Plays the flute.
Yeah, like those things where it's like, there's a world outside of just... That's where I start to agree with you with the stuff of like it felt like a mini series.
Yeah.
Because there is so many moving parts and it is kind of constructed like clockwork and it's very like well constructed.
Like by the end of the film, we have like multiple things concluding.
Yeah.
We've got like the film ends with the blind guy. That's the end of that, but that's like we get like a wrap up of everyone. To be fair, the wrap up of everyone's story is like everyone's dead.
Everyone's dead. Everyone go home. Everyone's dead.
Mate. It's such like, I mean, it is a Shakespearean tragedy.
Yeah.
I want to say that. I want to say that a bit. I want to almost do it after section when we finish talking about it. I've got a brief bringing back of like the trivia section of what we did once upon a time, but more like brief little facts that I found interesting as opposed to a big trivia. But one thing that I thought was interesting was that although this is known as it's based on King Lear by Shakespeare and that, it wasn't originally written for that. Like Kurosawa originally wrote the film more so based on just a Japanese legend. Really.
Oh, right. Okay.
Just general Japanese legend. Specifically, let me see if I can find the guy's name. Mori Motonari is specifically... I need to look at more about him. But Mori Motonari was a prominent daimyo in the western Chugoku region of Japan during the Sengoku period of the 16th century. The Mori clan claimed descent from the Oe no Hiromoto, an advisor to... Motonari was called the Beggar Prince. So I don't know loads about him, but apparently that was like a big influence on that. But who was it? Someone said like, have you ever thought about doing King Lear? Is it? I don't know. But then apparently like that's how it became woven in.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, I don't know. King Lear is actually a Shakespeare story that I don't know loads about. I don't know.
No, I know Ian McKellen did it.
Yeah.
I think. Or that might be King Richard III. I might be getting confused.
Maybe both, I think. But I know apparently the King Lear story is the king has it's 3 daughters, not 3 sons.
Oh, okay.
So different. So automatically by that, which is interesting because obviously the 3 sons aspect is very macho and like, well, I'm the king now, and so it might be more about deceiving within King Lear probably, where this is more like warlord, Japanese samurai, and all that stuff. Which, I mean, I fuck hard with within that.
Yeah, so, it's right up your street,
It's right up my street. That's what I mean. I think it's long. It's long, but it's not too long to me. To where, but also I was worried like, I don't want this to be a really like complicated ass story where I'm gonna have to really, really fucking focus in on. But it's like. It's quite simple. It's it's like, guy, I'm relinquishing my power, but so you can have it. You're the oldest, so you get it, but I still have certain responsibilities, but you have the title. And then it becomes a very and also I think it's also one of these things like, once you know like every Japanese samurai film that we've talked about, once you at least get an understanding on whose name's who, you can easily follow these films. Because
definitely.
I think Sword of Doom Sword of Doom, more so Harakiri. Harakiri was definitely like a film where they just said names and you were expecting to be like, wait, which one was that again? Which one was that again?
Yeah.
So it's a similar type of thing with this in the sense, like, I mean, once you know who Taro Jiro and Saburo and Sue and Kaed, once you watching the film and you go, oh yeah, I know that's that one. You're fine. It's a simple,
you're
really
absolutely fine.
Really simple story. I want to briefly talk about the ending of this film, because I feel like that's my last point narratively.
Cool.
And then we could talk about more like the filmmakery side of things with it. This is when I know, like, because I was worried in the sense, like, I was really into it for the first half, and then I'm not saying that I dipped within the second half, but I did feel like. Okay, like within the second act, like I was like, okay, I'm not. The energy isn't as there for me.
Yeah.
It might be because I had paused the film for a bit to like do something. Like I think I needed to dip to the loo and then take some dishes down or whatever. Little things like that could like that's why whenever like I had a conversation with like a mate one time where he could just pause a film and then do something and then go back and then resume. I'm like, oh, dude, I need to watch the film instantly. Like that's why, like that's like when if I'm sticking a film on, I'm putting my phone on do not disturb. I'm turning the blinds so I'm in darkness, and I'm like, I don't even recline because I feel too tired when I recline in my chair. I'm like, I'm sitting watching this film. That is what I'm doing. I'm not doing anything else. And so even like a brief bit of like, I need to pause this because I really need a piss. And then I'm back and I'm like, right, okay, so. I need to get back into it a little bit. But the ending really got me back to like really get, again, we got big grand scale things. There's certain shots where you just see a clan on a hill, on a mountain in the distance, just like coming up. I'm like, that shot is so crazy to think about directing in the sense of like, that's a big fucking thing. Like, right, we need them to be exactly at this moment, and because we've got people in the foreground who need to look up and like, God, imagine if you're like one guy up on there and you don't quite like get, or like
you're just kind of out of it,
or like someone like slightly falls off the horse. He goes, shit, we need to reset.
Yeah,
we need to reset.
Like,
Crazy.
How do you reset a shot like that? That doesn't...
Exactly. And so we had like that. You had like those like moments like that, and it got to the end with it all. Lady Kaeda gets fucking sliced, which is one of my favorite gore shots ever. And again, I love that it's really Tarantino-esque in terms of how he does it, and it's shit like that. Where again, for some reason, whenever I see something like that, I think it's really anime the way that it happens. Where it's like, where I can't remember. She goes like, shit has to happen, and then like. Kuragana just goes, I'm sick of this bitch. So the camera slightly moves up. He gets a sword out. You see it slice, and then you just see like a, just like
big old splatter.
I'm like, and I think my instant reaction, because I was really into like the character, everything in this film. My instant reaction was like, oh shit, I can't believe that's how that happened for that character. But then I also was like, oh shit, that was sick. That was a cool effect. That was so cool. I think it's like because a lot of this stuff is really cool and stylistic that we don't get anything like that unless the director is Tarantino these days. Yeah. I'm like, it's just so welcoming to see something like that happen. Yeah. I want to say as well, because although Tarantino does it, you're watching a Tarantino film and Tarantino has a certain like grindhouse grit to his films. Even in his films that are a bit more prestige, like there's still a bit of like, not shoddy, that's not the word I'm thinking of, but you know what I mean? Like a bit more like,
I know what you mean.
Like video store rental almost.
Yeah.
Like that type of feel. Like even Once Upon a Time in Hollywood feels like a film that you would get on VHS and Blockbuster. Like that's the type of feel. Whereas like RAN feels like a big prestige period piece. But then you've got really like over the top gore in it as well, which is like,
and like you said, the makeup earlier, like things like that, where it's like It's kind of camp. It's
there's
like
there's a bit of camp, but the overall film
Yeah.
is quite. This is really grand and prestigious and
yeah,
wow. But then it's like, but then we just got like a blood spray, just
Yeah.
just that, and then it's like the moment of like, I was like completely sold on this little happy ending for a little bit where Hidetora is on the back of Saburo's horse, and he's like, oh yeah, we'll talk like father to son, and I'm like, this is cool, and then I'm like, but then part of me was like, it wasn't like
Yeah.
something bad's gonna happen. My head was like, right, I thought this film was gonna go one way so many different times, but then we went another way in so
Yeah.
many. Again, I was genuinely expecting to see Sue's head in that moment, and then we saw the fox. So like
Yeah.
again, I'm like, this film could legit just show me a severed head right now, but then didn't.
and then it didn't. Yeah,
And I'm like, oh, it's a nice happy ending, but something's probably gonna happen. And then I hear a gunshot, and I first thought it was just a rogue gunshot.
yeah.
And then you just see Saburo just go, just limp,
Yeah.
and I'm like, and I was like, oh fucking, of course that happened, and I was I was like, oh damn it, I was like, well, to be fair, that is very Shakespearean tragedy where it's like, and then everyone dies, and then a little bit afterwards you go like, here's this, and then you see another thing where it's like, wait a minute, that's a head, that is, and it's
Yeah.
Sue's head, and you don't see the head, but you see her kimono.
Yeah.
Brilliant way of doing it, man. So cool. And then we see a big wide shot of the bodies in the cab, and then like a beheaded body, and then we see the blind guy just
Looking over everything.
well,
Well,
he's over everything. I don't know if he's
yeah,
looking.
he's certainly there, isn't he?
He's certainly there, and it's just like, God, I don't know. It's like, and then it ended. I was just like, that is kind of exactly how I would have, like, it would have felt very disingenuous if it was like, and then everything was happily ever after. It's like,
Yeah.
the way this film was going, it was like, the whole film was almost like, yeah, what goes around comes around, bitch. So it's like, nothing should have ended happy.
No,
'Cause it would've- If this ended with like Saburo and Hidetora just like drinking jasmine tea,
Yeah, no.
just chilling.
It's kind of the only way it could have ended.
Yeah. And yeah, great. Again, it's a example of like, there was no story beat in this where I was dissatisfied,
Yeah.
personally. And we'll talk about the filmmaking side of things now, because this is genuinely, we talk about Umbrellas of Cherbourg, how I went Umbrellas of Cherbourg might be one of the greatest examples of film cinematography. This is another example of that to me, in the sense of like,
What?
yeah, man, I don't. Like,
What are you talking about?
how can you? This is what baffles me. How can you look at this film and go, it didn't really look that appealing?
It doesn't. It doesn't at all.
It's again, I'm speechless by that, because I'm like, I just don't know how. Like,
I don't know what looks so special about it. It's just everything's a bit washed out. Everything's a bit
so vibrant. By the way, I don't know how you're looking at. What,
It's
okay,
not though.
right. I watched a 4K transfer, I want to say, by the way, of a Blu-ray. So I don't know what version you're watching, but
Well, it wasn't gonna be 4K, was it?
well, it wasn't 4K, but I mean, like, it was a Blu-ray 4K transfer. Like, it was on Blu-ray, not 4K HD.
Right, okay.
But it was a 4K restoration.
Right.
That was I've got the Studio Canal Blu-ray that was released like for the 40th anniversary of it. 40? 30 years, 2015. It hasn't reached its 40th fucking anniversary yet. But it got taken from the actual like master film negative, and Studio Canal restored it from there as a 4K restoration. So that's how I watched it, so I don't know how you were watching it, but so I'm baffled you're going, it's all washed out.
Well, not like washed out, but it was just kind of like, I don't know. There was at no point in this where I looked at it and was like, wow,
Not
that looks amazing.
Not like the sun glow thing, like with when Hidetora's talking to Sue for the first time.
Yeah.
not the big ass wide shot of the burning castle, and then he's walking away from it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. I mean, but like I don't know. It's not. I don't know. None of this was like, whoa, man. It looked like when like on a YouTube fan film nowadays, where it's just like it's very obvious that just a load of dudes got around in a field and filmed a thing. It kind of looked like that.
Oh dear.
I don't know. It was just like, it was okay. I don't know.
I think to me as well, because obviously the way this film was framed, it was framed in wides mainly and a lot of stills. This was mainly because, I mean, it works as well because it's medieval Japan and it's clearly reminisce ancient Japanese paintings. And Kurosawa spent a decade storyboarding this film by just painting every by painting.
Insane.
I think his hobby was just painting anyway as well. So I think so I think he did it more so to also just pass the time. But he thought, well, while I'm to pass the time, I may as well make this the storyboard for my film, for the film that I want to make. Basically, this was his big passion project that he wanted to do, and his whole thing was like he didn't get loads in the 70s. He was kind of looked upon as like a bit of a washed up director. It wasn't until in 1980, which is a film called Kagemusha, came out, which is another color samurai film that he did, starring Tatsuya Nakadai, film I haven't seen yet, but film came 5 years prior to this. But that's a film that Francis Ford Coppola and George Lucas helped produce.
I remember that.
Yeah, as they're big Kurosawa fans, they were like,
yeah,
you know what, we'll use our Godfather and our Star Wars status to help you make a film because we think you're fucking cool and we think you should still be making films. So he was probably like making Ran, like imagining what he could do with Ran, like this film. So he's like, well, I'll have that. I'm probably not going to be making this anytime soon. Let me spend the time painting the fucking film.
Jesus Christ.
And to me, and also is a bit of a factoid thing. By this point, he was like 74, 76 when making this film. And apparently by the time principal photography came around, his vision was basically gone. Like, he could barely see. So he basically had his assistant director be the one communicating with his cinematographers. There was fucking 3 cinematographers for this film.
Oh, Jesus.
One of them was Kurosawa's regular cinematographer, the guy who did Seven Samurai and that, who became, I think, the oldest person nominated for the cinematography role from this film.
Oh,
cool. But the assistant director basically communicated with the cinematographer of like, right, the framing needs to be just like this, and just help with the painting.
Jesus
really.
Christ.
So the film was framed with paintings, with Japanese paintings as references, and you can see it. Like, there's no like wild movement. There's no like, And to me, I think that's why I love the cinematography so much in this, because it's like, just give me because the imagery is so beautiful. Like, to me, the imagery is just so beautiful anyway. The landscapes are just so stunning. The costumes are just amazing anyway. The sets are extraordinary. We're like, just give me a fucking like a wide for me to look at this and just let everything be framed in a very specific way that just lets me just see this gorgeous imagery.
Yeah.
I don't need like a big 360 movement. I don't need a big wanna. I mean, there's wannas. The way this film seems like it was framed was like one camera was set one way and then another camera was set the other way, and they just let the actors act.
Yeah, it feels like that a lot of the time.
It feels very Japanese theatrical.
Yes,
which I like a lot more than certain types of theatrical. Looking at you, 7-year Rich.
Whoa, now. Calm the fuck down, all right?
As we all know, Robbie Tweedo's the biggest 7-year Rich fan.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I think am I taking on that title? Is that a thing that I own now?
I think you're the only one that I've ever heard of being like, guys, the 7-year Rich.
It's a good movie. I don't know.
Yeah. But that's what, but that's like with me with the cinematography with this film, it's like, it works so well because, again, to me, again, it's going to sound so fucking stupid from me, But you know, like some people, and I'm like this as well with certain things, where like certain like comic book films are framed, and it's like that's a shot, that's like framed exactly like a panel from the comic. Like I like how Sin City did that, and I think, am I right in thinking some Batman films have done that? Well, it's like that's basically.
Yeah, probably. Well, they did the Dark Knight Returns cover thing in Batman v Superman, didn't they? With the lightning bolt and the.
Yeah. I'm sure there was was there something from the Batman that was, I can't remember. There was
probably, I don't know.
But there's moments like that where you're like, what? And it's just like, where you just see like a frame. And it's like, that is fucking cool. To me, it's like, I just looking like at an imagery. And although I'm not like a fucking like expert on every Japanese painting ever, or like I don't have a favorite Japanese painting, but like I know what they look like.
Yeah.
I almost seen a film that looks like one. I'm just like, that's just fucking cool, man. Again, it's almost like, I think the best way I could describe my love for this film is like, it just seems like obviously I would love this. Like it just seems made for me. Of like the simple, it does the simple things that make me happy.
Yeah,
and that's the best. And again, I could also argue that like if you're on about again from an unbiased point of view, I could also agree if someone goes, this is top 10 greatest films ever made. I can also perfectly understand that from like how it's made as a film and like the fact it tells such like it's a Shakespeare story directed by Akira Kurosawa at the height, at the best technical ability he could be in to me. Like, to me, it's like, it's almost like the perfect combination of just a range of artistic things. Like, it's like we get Shakespeare and Kurosawa and Japanese art, and we just get this piece of film that is a perfect encapsulation of just like really renowned art. Is the way is like the way I can describe it as being one of the greatest films ever made. Personally, for me, it's one of my favorites just because it has a lot of shit in it that I'm like, that's really cool. I really like that. It's just,
Damn. And for me, it's A-okay. And I probably won't remember anything about it in about a week's time.
Such a shame because I could definitely see myself like it feels
I should watch it again, I think. I feel like I should probably watch it again when I'm less tired all the time.
I mean, it hasn't been helping these days, has it?
No, it really hasn't.
I think, like, oh no, like it is a film. It almost just does feel like like it feels so unlike anything that I have seen. Like I can't think of anything to compare this with. Personally, I don't know. Like again, we said like narratively, I can understand Game of Thrones is there's a lot of Game of Thrones-iness like this, but like I don't know, like again, I might watch Kagamusha, like his other color samurai film we did in the 80s, and I'm like, that's exactly like Ran or whatever. But like, I don't know, like at this moment in time, it's just so unique to like itself that like whenever I feel like if I get like a feeling I want to watch this type of film. You know, like sometimes you're like, I'm in the mood for this type of film. So you've got like either Step Brothers or Anchorman. You know, like what I mean? If you're like, I'm in the mood for a daft comedy starring Will Ferrell. Which one? Like type of thing. Like I'm in the mood for like a bit of like a suspenseful 70s horror film. It's like, well, we've got The Exorcist or Black Christmas or blah de blah or blah de blah or blah de blah.
Yeah.
With this, I feel like I'm in the mood for just a really vibrant, big samurai film. Ran.
Yeah, because there isn't another one.
I feel like that's a very specific thing for me to say, but I do get in moods like that sometimes where I'm like, I want a samurai film, but I want something quite vibrant and very like visually like blur. But I don't know.
Damn.
This didn't have a duel. I would have loved a duel in it. That's the only thing that like
I would have loved more samurai and. You know, like, I don't know. To me, I was watching this and I was like, I'm not going to lie to you. When we were watching the big battle and people had guns, I was kind of bummed out.
No, I can understand that.
I was like, guns? We're doing a samurai movie. Get your fucking sword out.
Just start slashing.
Well, exactly. I don't know. Like, not a lot of people were killed by swords in this.
I guess
Just kind of upsetting.
I guess because the setting, because again we've talked 5 very different samurai films. They're all 5 very different samurai films. I think this film is like the big war film that we've talked about, like with kingdoms. And
yes,
I think this is the only. I think this is like, obviously kingdoms have been present in all the samurai films we've talked about, but this is like the film where we're focusing on a kingdom and everything that is involved with that. So it is more just big. It is more just like we're watching a big load of people on horses just go like this. Is that. Whereas like Sword of Doom is more like we're watching one guy hacking, slashing loads of people.
Yeah.
And Harakiri is like, now let's watch this cool ass duel.
Yeah.
And Seven Samurai is just, I don't know, a bit of everything.
Yes.
That's a bit of everything, that one.
It's a bit of a nice little taster, isn't it?
A nice little taster, 3 hours, 20 minutes. Just a nice little taster.
A smorgasbord.
Do you know what it is? Do you know what? Seven Samurai is almost like a multi-continental buffet.
Yeah.
Where it's like, do you want this bit of samurai? There, we've got that. We've got
that. We've got a bit of this. Got a bit of funny. What do you want?
There's not loads of funny in this film.
Yeah.
There was that one bit where Koyami puts the fucking like flower hat on Hidetaro.
Yeah.
And then he just smiles.
And you know that guy all the way through. There's that guy that definitely should be dead, and I cannot fathom why he's still alive.
In terms of like, I think like Tatsuya Nakadai's role in this is interesting.
Mm.
In the sense of like, this might be his weaker performance that we've seen him in. This is the 3rd film we've seen him. Obviously, Harakiri, Sword of Doom, and then this. But I still think he definitely brings a very unique presence. Like, you almost feel like, oh, this guy's in a league of his entire own right now.
Yes.
Like, it's, I dig. Again, it's a film that I love a lot. I'm glad that to me, this was a very satisfying season finale for a film. Again, and as we've discussed, I think it's more so because it's a lot of things that I just personally like. I don't know why, but it's just things where it's like what would Oscar really like? Just all of this.
Yeah, there you go. Tie it in a nice little neat bow. There you have it.
There we go. I'll watch it again at some point. That's it. I feel like we should wrap up our thoughts on the film.
Yeah, same.
But overall, love the film. Would highly recommend. It's in my top 3 favorite samurai films for me personally.
Dear Christ, it's in. I guess it's in my top 3 of the 5 I've seen.
Do you prefer it over Sword of Doom?
No.
Is that your number 1? That would be your number 1.
Probably my number 1. Yeah, it's good stuff.
What is Harakiri above this or Seven Samurai?
I would say it's joint with Harakiri for me.
Okay, that's fair.
In that sense of, although I would say I'm probably never going to watch Harakiri again in my life. Whereas
really?
I will probably give this another go at some point.
So
I would like to.
There's always something about Kurosawa films I just do feel rewatchable.
Yeah.
No matter what they are. Masaki Kobayashi is a bit of a different beast again, Harakiri, and one day we will probably get to the Human Condition trilogy, which is
cripes.
A beast.
Dear to God.
With that being said, should we move on to the intermission section?
Hell yeah, it's intermission time.
Before we get going, I realised that I didn't go through all this in the intro because we ran right into RAN.
Very good.
I want to say, obviously, there's links in the description for Instagram and Letterboxd for all of us. You can see what we're watching. You can see what's going to be the next episode. Keep an eye on the Instagram because obviously we're coming to the end of the season, so we might have more updatey things for you about
announcements and such.
Yeah, about whatever that may be. But also in the description, as always, are links to any mental health information. Here on the Intermission Podcast, we are massive advocates for mental health awareness and just general mental health care. And there's a multitude of links that I've left in the description. Not just UK based. I want to say that as well. If you are an international listener, I've got stuff in there for like Mental Health USA as well and stuff in there. I just did copy and paste of stuff. So again, as always, there's stuff there. If you're having a rough day or if you're having a rough week, and you don't feel like, and if you don't feel like there's any hope for you, because it can get to like, I can understand it can get like that. And you don't feel like you have anyone to talk to, there's information in the description below for the first step towards that. Yeah. There you go. There's that. And will it be? Oh, yeah. This time next week. This will be the last episode before Love, Bethany is screened at the Tees Valley International Film Festival. Tickets are still available if you want to go and see Love, Bethany on the big screen on the 26th of October.
Nice.
At noon. There's also the closing ceremony on Saturday. Quickly get your tickets if you haven't got them. They are running out. So do that if you haven't.
Which is me. I haven't. I keep forgetting. So I
or do it.
I need to do that.
Are you able to come up for that
on Saturday?
Next Saturday.
Yeah, I won't be doing anything.
Do you want me?
What do I do with my goddamn life?
Do you want me to get the ticket and then you just pay me back?
Oh yeah, please.
I'll just do that because
I'll
remember.
I'll forget until I'll
just do it and then you can pay me back so you can guarantee to have a ticket there.
Yeah, thanks, man. That'd be great.
And then either way, I've already said this to Angus. Either way, I want to have drinks afterwards that night anyway. Because if I win,
hell yeah, we're getting drinks.
If I lose.
Hell yeah.
We're
getting drinks.
We're getting drinks. Yeah, we're getting drinks.
Yeah.
I don't know what everyone else is doing for Halloween as well. I need to ask Connor and Joe because I think they are doing something for Halloween. I don't know what. So I need to ask and when.
Yeah.
What and when.
I'm at a party on Saturday.
This Saturday.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Christ. And I'm allergic to them, so that's enough. Good stuff. Great jokes. No, it's a 70s and 80s themed birthday party. So yeah, I'm gonna go as Tom Baker, Doctor Who. It's gonna be great.
Of course.
Hell yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all of that said. Intermission. What have you got to bring this week, Robbie, for us?
I've got nothing this week. I've not watched anything.
All right.
I have nothing to talk about. I could. Do you know what I can go on about?
What can you go on about?
And I'll keep it brief. Because, God blimey, should I keep this brief?
Yeah.
Hell of a week for DC.
Oh yeah.
Let me talk about. Oh yeah. Here we go. Okay, let me find this fucking report. So DC Films is apparently at a turning point. So what's going on here? So James Gunn is angling for another secret DC project. Man of Steel 2 is officially happening finally after all these goddamn years. It's finally happening. Rumor is it's Christopher McQuarrie. If so, yes.
Ooh,
very good.
That's a good choice.
Yeah, new Henry Cavill Superman film. There's talks of Christopher McQuarrie doing it.
That Zack Snyder hasn't just got his hand around the throat of this fucking property anymore.
Give it to anyone else, please. For the love of Christ.
I'll even take Henry Cavill directing it at this point.
Well, exactly. I'd take that. What else is there going on here? They're getting a new boss. Oh yeah, Matt Reeves is developing various different spin-offs for Batman.
Didn't we know that anyway?
Yeah, but there's talks of other ones. So he's having different directors pitch ideas to him.
That's fine.
So that he can offload things, so that the Batman universe can kind of expand out with.
But he's
overseeing all of it. Basically, he oversees everything as an executive producer. But
I like this a lot.
Yeah,
man.
There's talks of a Scarecrow project,
cool.
A Clayface project.
Who wanted Mike Flanagan? I think wants Clayface. I think he's been trying to
give it to him.
I think he's been talking to Warner Brothers in the sense I think he's randomly I hope you guys know I'm a massive Clayface fan, so if you're doing it,
please. And the other one's Professor Pig.
Sure.
Sure.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, do like a weird, fucking horrible slasher film because he's a terrifying character, by the way.
No, he is. He's
sounds
fucked up.
stupid, but Professor Pig is terrifying.
I mean, Arkham Knight.
Yes. Oh
Jesus
my god. Yeah.
Christ.
Yeah, it's horrific. And I feel like there's something else, but I can't really think about anything else.
Black Adam's coming out this Friday, and I'm not seeing it.
I will see it because I probably have to.
Do you know what? No, do you know what? I made a specific choice to be like, you know what? I'm choosing not to see it because there's legit 2 other films out that day that I would rather watch.
Yeah, Thingy's
so
coming out, isn't it? The Martin McDonagh one.
That one, I haven't seen a cinema that's playing that yet, so I'm worried. So I'm going to have to try and find that. But also the new Park Chan-wook film, Decision to Leave, is coming out.
All right.
And then, so I'm seeing that on Sunday.
Oh, nice.
So I'm literally choosing to watch other films that I actually have an interest in watching.
Yeah. Anything else?
That I just don't. It's not even like an outright, like, I'm boycotting Black Adam. It's like, I just don't care.
Well, I was looking at it and I was like, am I going to go see that? And I was like, I probably am going to see it anyway. But then I was like, do I need to see it? Not really, because the only reason I would have seen it is to see if Superman did actually come back. And I know he did because it got spoiled a week before the movie came out by The Rock. Fucking moron. But also, he probably knew that no one was going to go see the movie without him saying that Superman was in it. So he just said it to get people to go because there's nothing else really in the film.
Weirdly enough, the only thing that like intrigued me enough about it was like, because I've been hit, because this has been going on for years about a Black Adam film with The Rock. So I'm like,
well, it was announced 8 years ago.
Yeah, it's like I've just known about this forever. So I'm like, all right, well, it's probably. And I was like, and I like Shazam, so I'm like, I'll see it because I'll see if it weaves into Shazam. The Rock, for some reason, is like, he's gonna be fighting Superman. It's like, how about
how about he fight Shazam?
The guy that
you know his nemesis.
You know the guy that like he fights. Can he do that? And Shazam's good. So
yeah,
why don't
it's like it would be like if they announced that they were doing a Green Goblin solo movie, and they were like, and somewhere down the line he's gonna fight Iron Man. And it was like, okay, why though? Because what about Spider-Man?
Do you know what this is like? It's almost like Black Adam. I'm talking about films now. It's almost like Black Adam is like a human being. We'll talk about it like this, right?
Yeah.
Black Adam and Shazam. They grew up as each other as like best mates in primary school or whatever, and then they went to different secondary schools, and then whatever, and then it's like Superman's the cool fucking kid. Like he's like the one that everyone knows. Shazam isn't mega cool, but he's likable. And it was like, oh, we dig Shazam.
I like Shazam.
And then Black Adam's like, oh, I'm going to hang out with Superman. It's like, but didn't you hang out with Shazam? It's like, yeah. But Shazam's not cooler than Superman.
Yeah.
So I'm going to hang. And then, but it's like, but you're not cooler than, but you're not as cool as Superman. It's like, yeah. But Shazam isn't cooler.
But
Superman's cool. So it's almost like, yeah, okay, Shazam's not cooler, but but Shazam's likable. You're an arsehole.
Yeah.
So now it's come to the point where Shazam's like, I don't even give a shit about Black Adam anymore. I'm fine being my own thing.
It's so weird because like he's mentioned in the Shazam movie.
Yeah.
There's a bit where the wizard who gives Shazam his powers is like, there was a champion once before, but we don't really talk about that or whatever. He's talking about Black Adam. The same guy that gives Shazam his powers gave Black Adam his powers and made a mistake because he's a bad dude. It's a whole thing. Like I don't know. It's fucking bizarre. The other bit was that a sequel script to The Flash is already written, apparently.
Oh,
but the reason it's written, Oscar, is quite intriguing. It's so that they can
not have Ezra Miller.
Yes, it's so they can pitch it to other actors. They can go, we want you to take over as The Flash, and they go, yeah, but there's no movie coming out for The Flash. And they go, we've got this script. Apparently, top choice at the minute from Warner Brothers, George McKay.
Oh, George McKay, yeah.
Yeah, the one from 1917.
Yeah, nice one.
Good choice. I like him.
Yeah.
And
he ran.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he can run. I've seen him do it.
I saw him do that when he fell over and he got back up and he kept running.
Yeah, exactly. And he's spindly. He's a big long boy, which is what I like in a Flash.
And he seems like a sound bloke as well.
Yeah, exactly. He seems like he's not going to hold some people at gunpoint or whatever.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like he's going to like be involved with a hostage situation.
Yeah, doesn't sound like he's going to run a cult anytime soon and put bullets in the mouths of 2-year-olds. But these things could happen. I don't know.
We found that information out when we were recording the La La Land commentary.
Yeah, bizarre. What a bizarre turn of events, eh? Do I have anything else to talk about in this intermission segment? No.
I'll go on my thing.
Yes, I'm gonna. Can I make a prediction as what your thing's gonna be?
What is it gonna be?
Is it Halloween Kills?
It is Halloween Kills.
Okay, because I know about this.
Not Halloween Kills, Halloween Ends, yes.
Halloween Ends, sorry. I know about what happens in this movie, and it's fucking bizarre. But continue. you do your thoughts.
I'm not
Halloween.
I don't want to. I'm not going to go into it like fully. I'm not going to because fuck me, I'm exhausted. If I'm being perfectly honest, yeah. we got back from seeing this in the cinema. Then I got in my house. Then I saw that there was going to be a Silent Hill announcement on Wednesday. And I'm like, the universe may have fucked Halloween up, but at least we might get Silent Hill. And then I got really happy, and I'm still on cloud 9 about that. I've already explained my excitement for that. Halloween Ends. Right. I don't need to explain my relationship with Halloween. I explained it last year when I talked about Kills. Yeah. And I like Kills. Kills is a good time. We binged through the Old Man Michael timeline, which is Halloween 78, Halloween 2018, Halloween Kills. I like all those films for their own different reasons. So I'm like, okay then, Halloween Ends. Let's see. I was seeing it was getting bad reviews. I'm like, Kills got bad reviews. So let me just see what happens. And I remember we were rocking up to the cinema and I went to Lewis, all I need within my Halloween film, I just need Michael Myers to murder people and I want a spooky autumnal vibe. That's all I need and I'll have a good ass time.
Yeah.
What did we not get in this film? We got barely any Halloween. I mean, the film eventually got set in Halloween. This film is set 4 years after the first two. Which I learned, apparently the original intent was for the whole trilogy to be one fucked up night. And in my opinion,
much better.
They should have done that. Because the way Kills ends is like, let's fucking go. But then it's like, 4 years later. But 4 years later.
What came of them saying that the pandemic was canon?
Oh, there's nothing there.
Oh, okay.
I think they revoked that when they realized we weren't in as bad of a spot as they thought we were going to be.
Right.
Although Lewis thinks, again, so I'm spoiling Halloween Ends like you give a shit.
Yeah, that's fine.
Like anyone gives a shit. Lewis thinks, because there's a moment where like the first time we see Michael is too late in the film, I'll say that. Too late. And he's like kind of like, he's like in a tunnel. He's like in the sewers. He's Pennywise in it. And he's kind of like, I'm not feeling very well. Because if there's one thing I want to see Michael Myers is like feeble.
Yeah.
The one thing I want,
killing Missy Michael Myers. I want to see him curled up in a fetal position in a fucking sewer.
The one thing I want to see him is still wearing the Shatner mask in the boiler suit, just kind of like, oh no.
Yeah.
And I see that. And Lewis thinks like, Lewis was like, I think Michael had COVID. I think that's what they were gonna do. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, they probably were.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
You just had Michael.
Yeah, it's like, ooh, has anyone got a lateral flow?
We just see him like,
Jesus Christ. But he's doing it up the Shatner mask.
That's what I said, I was like, I wanted something wild. I wanted a wild twist. I was like, what would piss people off? And then I went, I want them to whip the mask off and actual William Shatner is under them.
That would be incredible. That would be up there with if they whipped the mask off and it was just Laurie Strode.
Yeah.
Or it was Dr. Loomis the whole time.
But like the guy in the makeup, like in Halloween Kills, like it's like,
yeah.
That would be cool. No, instead, right. The open again. I'll skim through it. I don't know how much you know about this, Robbie.
Yeah, can I tell you what I generally know?
Yeah, tell me what you know, and then I'll break it down by that.
Laurie's granddaughter gets a boyfriend.
Yes.
Laurie miraculously thinks that this boyfriend is evil for some reason. I don't know why that is.
Eventually, she doesn't initially think that.
Yeah, because everyone in the town thinks he's a murderer or something. And then he's running away from people and he goes into the sewers and he meets Michael Myers. And Michael Myers goes, I think you're all right. Me, heartless killer who has no emotions whatsoever, I think you're cool, man. Here's a boiler suit and a Michael Myers mask.
Well, no,
go do some stabbing.
Right, I'll I'll correct a few things here. The film opens in 2019. So
Right.
a year after Halloween and Halloween Kills.
Okay.
And then we see this dude and he's babysitting a kid. And there's a point where the kid ends up locking him in the cupboard. And then the guy freaks the fuck out and he kicks the door because he's like, oh shit, there might be a killer in here. Blur, because everyone's still reeling from Michael Myers. So everyone's like, oh, the boogeyman's coming, all the boogeyman bullshit. Like, all that stuff. And then the parents of the kid walk back in the house from being out, and then the babysitter, he kicks the door. The kid, the door smacks the kid, and the kid goes flying down through the stairs because it's like one of those stairs things where it's like a bit of a spiral but big. So the kid goes sailing from the top floor all the way down, and you just see in a wide shot of the kid going.
Jesus Christ.
You watch a kid splat on the floor, my guy.
I mean, that's pretty funny.
And, I mean, it was. And then so I was like, okay. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, that's an interest. Keep in mind, I didn't watch a single trailer, so I don't even know what the fuck was shown. So I'm like, oh, that was an interesting opening. I wonder why that's a thing. And then we get the doot, 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 doot. We get the opening. We get a cool shot. And I'm hyped. At this point, I'm still in on the film. I'm like, okay, cool.
Here we go.
And then we see the kid again. I'm like, why is he back? Why is he back? Is that he got arrested for murdering a kid, and it's 3 years later, and he's working and he's cycling away. I'm like, why are we focusing on him? This is interesting. He wasn't in the previous few films.
Yeah.
And then we see him riding, and he's late for work in the car garage, and then I see him in a boiler suit that looks identical, and that's his work uniform. And I see it, I'm like, they're gonna make him Michael Myers. And I start panicking at this point. I'm like, oh no, they're gonna do some bullshit. Lewis pointed out as well, there was apparently graffiti on like the tunnel wall. Lewis went, he was gonna point it out to me, but then he didn't. But he said, there's graffiti that says "Live loves today."
Oh my god!
No, love lives today. Love lives today. Not evil dies tonight. Love lives today.
That's the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my goddamn life.
And I think that sums up this whole film. I was like, that's the stupidest fucking thing I've seen in my time. Right, and skim things through. Laurie, to correct that, Laurie doesn't initially think Corey is evil. She sees him getting picked on. Right, Corey's a 25-year-old man at this point, I want to say as well. Corey's a 25-year-old man. He gets picked on by high schoolers, and what's funny is they're not football jocks. They're not popular drama kids.
Oh no. They're
the school band, and I mean like the marching fucking band. And there's this kid with a mullet who's always got drumsticks, and they're like, yeah, fuck this guy. But they're meant to be like the hard ass bullies. I'm like, what? Like you're the fucking band kids. What are you doing? You're nothing. They end up being the shit out of him for a bit because he fucking like Corey smashes a glass because he's drinking chocolate milk or whatever, and he smashes a glass from anger. Then he gets the shit kicked out of him by these bankers. Then Laurie's like, hey, leave him alone, and all that. And then they scram, and then Laurie takes him to the hospital, and her granddaughter, Allison, is like a nurse there. And then, and then instantly fancies Corey, by the way. She just instantly is well into him.
Fantastic.
And to which all I'm saying is, if people thought Joker was like, oh, this is a big like thing for incel culture, dude, this Corey kid is a fucking weirdo, and somehow he gets like the biggest babe of the entire franchise just instantly into him. Instantly. I'm like, this is absolute horseshit. How do I buy this? I don't. That's how I buy into it. I don't buy into it. God. And then she well fancies him, and then Laurie's like, oh, well, she did it on purpose as well. Laurie basically tried to hook up her fucking, like, granddaughter with this kid. I'm like,
right.
You do know he's, like, maybe, like, but why make him a fucking, like, weirdo? and all that stuff.
Yeah, you know he killed that kid, right?
She owned, it's the things like, but it was an accident. That's how.
Yeah.
But then there's like a thing where like it's like Corey ends up going in the tunnel and Michael grabs him by the throat, and then we get this weird thing where we almost get a That's So Raven moment where we zoom in Corey's eye, and then we get flashes of previous Halloween films for some reason, and then flashes of like we basically get a Halloween montage, and then that's when Michael goes, "Oh, you're all right." And then the impression that I get of that is like he sees the evil in Corey, and then he's like, "I'll leave you alone. You'll take over my mantle eventually, my guy." That's basically almost what he does. And then the next time Laurie sees Corey, she freezes because that's when she sees Michael in his eyes.
What? What the fuck?
And then there's a little bit later on where Corey's trying to kill another guy.
Yeah.
Some dude that a police officer that Allison apparently was dating that we've never seen before this film.
Okay. Fantastic.
But he decides, he's like, I'm going to kill this guy. So he leads him into the tunnel. Michael Myers is there. The policeman knocks Michael Myers on his ass. I want to preface by saying this is the same Michael Myers that murdered half of Haddonfield at the end of Halloween Kills.
Yeah.
And yet he gets basically pushed over, and I'm like, Michael, you are literally a brick shithouse. You could just snap this guy with your fucking pinky. Even if I think he got shot so many times and then kicked the shit out of so many times, and then he still got up and murdered everyone. It's like, dude, come on. And then
get up.
So then Corey knocks the police guy over down, and then Michael's like, "Oh, my hip." I don't know. And then Corey,
oh my God.
Corey goes, "Show me how you do it. Teach me your way." He basically says, "Teach me your way." And then we hear, do. Michael Myers is hulking up. He gets up. There's a bit of a brick wall, and he slides out the classic Michael Myers knife. Like it's a big, like, this is how you do it. And then Corey holds the police officer, and then Michael just stabs him. I'm like, yeah, it's not that complicated, man. You just
stab him, dude.
You just stab him. It's Michael Myers doesn't have this big like. It's like he's a guy who just with a knife who does this.
Yeah,
it's not. Teach me your evil ways. It's like, dude, you just pick up a knife. I think you've got this sorted. Like,
so is it as if like the guy that was behind this trilogy was like, well, Michael's big it's like Michael's big send-off was Halloween Kills,
basically.
But that's not.
But then just make that happen. I would have much rather almost if Michael died at the end of Kills and then just like
tell us that. I don't know. Like,
but no, he hid away in a tunnel. and then also that's another thing I want to say. It happened so many times. They kept cutting away from the kills. I was like, show it. What are you doing? Like, just show the kill. And it's like, and when they do show the kills, it's so fucking lackluster. It's like, and a knife, right?
Okay.
Come on. In the previous film, he took like a fuck. I explained it last year. I was like, he kicked a car door when someone was shooting him. He kicked the car door, and the gun went back and shot them. He fucking flew his hand through a wall and started smacking someone's. But it's like Michael's like peak of kills in this film is just
stab.
And there's one moment as well. It's like there's one moment where the two of them team up to do a kill.
Dear God.
Corey with the boiler suit and a scarecrow mask that he wore early in the film stabs someone. Again, it's not. They set up this location where it's like someone uncorks like a bottle of wine, and they do a close up on the corkscrew, and I'm like, okay, you've set up a corkscrew as a possible weapon, and then you go out. And there's the pool. I'm like, oh, someone could drown in the pool. There's like this pit with like this fire pit with a glass tabletop. I'm like, you could do a cool thing where someone smashes through the glass and then they're lit on fire.
Yeah.
The kills that happen in this scene, Robbie, is the girl who's sleeping with her boss is like, here's something. She comes out from the shower. She's like, doctor? Switches the light on. Corey's already stabbing the doctor. So he's already we've missed the majority of the kill. He's already getting stabbed. And then she's like, oh no, I'm going to lock you out. Corey starts freaking out on the window. Then Michael Myers comes out of nowhere, stabs her. He does the thing. He plays the greatest hits. He hangs her. He holds her up, then stabs her on the wall, making her. You know, like in the first Halloween where Michael stabs.
Yeah.
He plays the greatest hits, and that's the kills. That's the kills in those moments.
That's
Why?
so boring.
Just even do a thing where, like, corkscrew in the eye, pop the eyeballs out, throw someone. Something. I'm just saying knife crimes. I'm just.
I have here at my disposal, Oscar, if you'd like to hear it, the original ending to this movie.
Oh, tell me.
Because they changed the ending. Okay.
The ending's fascinating. I'll get to that as well.
Yeah. So Allison did not return to the kitchen.
Right, yeah.
Laurie and Michael still had their fight to the same result. No procession followed. Laurie took Michael's body to a funeral home and cremated it with the mask. Laurie wrote in her book with the same evil doesn't die, it just changes shape entry.
Yeah,
the ring at the door was Allison. She and Laurie talk. Some of this footage is in the ending now with Allison saying Laurie was right about Corey. That was all dialogue recorded later. You'll notice Laurie looks withdrawn and sad. That's because she's fighting something in this ending. She lunges out and tries to strangle Allison. Laurie comes to her senses and releases. She yells at Allison to leave Haddonfield. Allison does, heartbroken. Laurie watches her go and then slams the door. Evil never dies, the end. You know that line when Laurie says to Corey at the Allen house about the creeping evil being the most dangerous because you don't know if you're infected? It was supposed to apply to Laurie at the end. Anyways, everyone involved hated this ending, so it was changed.
I mean, yeah, the ending we did get was better. Doesn't mean it's good.
Yeah.
So the film ended. First of all, Corey started. First of all, here's legit what happened. Corey overpowered Michael Myers. I'm watching Michael Myers get tackled to the floor by this dweeb, and then his mask gets nicked. I'm like, and I'm not like this person who's like, the character of Michael Myers needs to be pure. I'm not like that. But you've just shown a man as like the pinnacle of destruction. I'm like, I'm not here to see this rando do this.
This random dude.
Yeah, so he takes the mask. He does Michael Myers shit. He squares off against Laurie Strode. He then stabs himself in the neck. Corey kills himself, which at this point I'm like, finally, yes, kill him. Just go away.
Get rid of this guy.
Just go away. And then Laurie goes, oh no. Takes the knife out of his throat. Allison walks in the house. So Allison is like, you just killed my boyfriend. And all that. I'm like,
okay.
And then it becomes that. You think Laurie's going to fucking off herself. Michael walks back in the house. He goes, I just want the mask. And while I'm here, I'll kill you now.
Then, whilst I'm in the neighborhood.
Whilst I'm here, I may as well take you out. Yeah. And then, I've been going out for like 40 odd years for some reason.
Yeah.
And
never quite figured it out.
And then
maybe we're related. Who knows?
And then she... I mean, they retconned that.
I know.
They retconned that. In this timeline, that's not true.
Okay.
Which makes it even more confusing why Laurie's obsessed with Anyway. He gets stabbed in both hands on the kitchen counter. He gets a fridge laid onto him. So he can't move. What happens? I think she first stabs him.
Yeah.
But then he's back. And then Allison comes in. Snaps his arm.
What?
Snaps Michael Myers gets his arm broken by Allison, and then
what, over her knee?
No, over the kitchen table, over the kitchen counter.
Okay.
So it was just as dumb. And then and then Laurie it's now time to end it. She slits his throat. It's the most feeble looking slit as well. It just looks kind of like a. But then loads of blood comes out, so it's like, oh, okay. And then it's like, but it's not done. And then they get his broken ass arm and they slit his wrists, but the bad way.
Okay.
So it's like, and now he's dead.
And do they not strap into a car and run it through the neighborhood or something?
And they were like, but it's not done. And then, no, I think Allison suggests it. I don't think he's dead enough. They fucking strap him on top of the car. The entire Haddonfield's turning up for this, by the way. So it's a big event. They're all driving. They're all driving to this like junkyard, and then they untie him from the top of the car. They practically Spider-Man 2 it. You know how they did in Spider-Man 2 in the train. They basically are doing that, and then they dump him in one of those big what are they called?
The light trash compactor things, isn't it?
One of those. You see him get dumped, and I mean, fair due to them. You see him get crushed. You see that man's head pop.
Okay.
So it's like, that. So
like
Michael Myers is dead.
in...
This is the first time in Halloween ever that we've legit seen him die.
Yeah, he's dead.
I mean, technically age 20, he got beheaded, but then they retconned that in Resurrection.
Yeah.
Horseshit.
Is there any possibility that they'll ever do they will do another Halloween film? Who am I fucking kidding? Is there any possibility that they'll ever do another one and reveal actually it was Corey that they killed?
No, because they unmask him and you see an old man face, basically.
Okay.
You see it's an old bloke. This timeline's done. This is
Is it any notable dude?
It's Nick Castle, the guy who was originally the body double in Halloween. Like the original Halloween.
Oh, that's nice.
So it's, he's been the old man, Michael. Like,
yeah.
It's a different Michael Myers in this. Like the original Halloween, they had a guy in that film where he got unmasked, that was just an actor, but the shape is how they're credited when it's just the stunt guy, Michael Myers. That's Nick Castle. But Nick Castle wasn't the stunt guy in this timeline, but whenever they unmasked him and we saw an old guy's head, that's Nick Castle. So
okay. Yeah,
right. So that's him. It's not like, is that Michael Bolton? It's it's just which would have been fucking brilliant. Michael Bolton was Michael Myers. But yeah,
if it was Mike Myers, pretty good.
No, donkey. And so Halloween Ends sucks.
Yeah,
blows. Apparently the same creative team, they're going to be doing the same thing, but with The Exorcist, which is even more worrying because The Exorcist is a completely different type of film. Like why do that?
To what end?
Anyway, Halloween Kills. Yeah. Halloween Ends sucks. At least Silent Hill's back. That's my intermission.
Excellent. I mean, I will have more to talk about in our Halloween special in the intermission segment of that, because this Sunday, come on down to the monster. This Sunday is the Doctor Who BBC centenary, 100 years of the BBC, baby. Goddamn, we love the BBC. 100 years, baby, special. Where Jodie Whittaker is finally leaving the show alongside Christopher Chibnall, everyone's favourite. They're doing an hour and a half special to finish off their 10 years on the show, and I, for one, can't fucking wait to see it go down in a horrible blaze of glory, for it to be awful. I can't fucking wait. I was actually upset that I was quite happy that the Prime Minister decided to resign today.
Oh, yeah, that happened today.
It did, yeah. We don't have a Prime Minister anymore as of this recording.
Keep it that way. Can we keep it that way? Just float. It's just
it's just float through it, I guess. It's better than anyone.
Let's just do an experiment. This is not even me being political. Let's just do an experiment. Let's just see how we go without a Prime Minister.
Yeah, let's just have a go.
Give a month. Give a month and just see how the country goes when we're just bouncing between things.
Exactly. I mean, but I was glad to see her go today, because if she'd have gone on Sunday, I didn't want my shit Doctor Who to be interrupted by a breaking news story that the Prime Minister had resigned. I was happy that she did it today, so I could just watch Doctor Who be ruined in peace, and I can have a great little time. I mean, I'll make some hot predictions, and we'll see what comes true. I think John Bishop's going to be dead in the first 5 minutes. And quite frankly, I hope he does. He's only seen in like one set piece in the trailer, which looks to me like it's like the opening action sequence, and they're out in space on a bullet train or something in space. And there's photos, they've released promotional photos where the visor on his spacesuit has got a hole in it, and he's looking real distressed. So I think he's gonna die in like the first 5 minutes, and that'd be pretty great. I also think Jodie Whittaker is going to regenerate into David Tennant. That's my big prediction. She's going to regenerate. It's going to be David Tennant. He's going to do his old what thing, and that'll be that. So we'll see if I'm right.
And then David Tennant regenerates into Shoot Gatwa.
Yeah, we'll get
in the special. In the big special.
Yeah, we'll get the 3 specials next year of David Tennant and Catherine Tate, them running amok or whatever, and Bernard Cribbins, goddamn, rest in peace. I love that.
Oh yeah.
And then at the end of that, I imagine David Tennant will turn to Shooty Gatwa and all will be right with the world. So yeah, excited to watch that be awful. So I'll keep you all updated.
And I'll probably talk about Decisions to Leave next week. Probably not an awful film.
Okie dokie.
Anyway, let's move on to our next segment, which is the negative Letterboxd review.
Oh, baby, I love it so much.
If you're unfamiliar, this is the segment that is frequently on the chopping block. That always gets saved at the very last minute.
All the time.
Always gets saved at the very last minute. So when we go to the social media site Letterboxd, and we go to the film that we've just been talking about, and we go to the negative reviews, because that's always funny. Well, not always funny.
It's mostly funny.
It has its moments, is what I'll say.
It certainly does.
Is there going to be any funny with this?
I hope so.
Is there going to be a Hall of Fame? Do you think we're going to get a Hall of Fame?
I don't predict a Hall of Famer.
But maybe a little chuckle?
Yeah, maybe a little chuckle.
I've also made the decision to just not read. If you write paragraphs, I'm fucking not reading you.
Yeah, we're not reading that shit.
I don't have time
Get
for
the hell
this.
out. Get the hell out of here, man.
Especially at the time that we record these episodes lately. Jesus.
Dear God, I've got to be up at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning.
In less than 5 hours, Robbie needs to be awake.
Oh, fuck me. It's not, is it?
It's 11:20, mate.
Oh, God.
Here we go. Let's get going.
Here we go.
Let's try to raise Robbie's spirits. How about this one?
Oh, fuck me.
Half a star. Freaking boring. I want to watch Spider-Verse now.
Me too, man. Is that me? Did I write that? Did I write that and forget?
No, you didn't write it, Robbie.
Oh, damn it.
I
hope the big world guy comes back.
Oh. I mean, we'll see. Half a star. I really wanted to love this. I really wanted to. Halfway through the movie, I turned it off. Came back an hour later, but couldn't go past another 20 minutes. It looks great, but this feels more like a musical than a movie. Wait. The acting is way too over the top, almost cartoonish. During conversations, there will be a 1-minute silence before the other character replies. Besides of that, there are huge pacing issues. The best scene is the picnic scene in the first 5 minutes. The picnic scene. Love that. Anything after just wasn't that good, unfortunately. But like I said, it visually does look good for its time.
Read the first bit of that again.
I really want to love this. I really wanted to. Halfway through the movie, I turned it off. Came back an hour later, but couldn't go past another 20 minutes.
Okay. Halfway through is an hour and 20 minutes.
Yes.
He came back an hour later. That'd be 2 hours and 20 minutes. And
yes.
he couldn't sit through another 20 minutes.
You couldn't sit through the last 20 minutes.
Okay, I was just making sure his maths checked out, because I was like, does that make any sense?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
He's got it. I think he's got it bang on.
Yeah.
Good on him.
Here we go. Half a star. Honestly, this is one of the most boring films that I have ever seen. I fell asleep. Is that a 1? Or yes, it is. I fell asleep 1 and 1.5. They wrote this really weird. An hour and a half in.
Oh, okay.
They wrote it 1.5 hours in, but they worded every other thing. So just say an hour and a half, man. I fell asleep an hour and a half in, and had to finish it the second day. Super, super boring. I was way more impressed with Yojimbo, which was like a Japanese spaghetti western. The spaghetti westerns nicked Yojimbo.
Yeah.
What are you on about? And Durso Uzala. Wow, this was just really, really bad. The only saving grace is I like the green color of the mountains, but everything else was so bad and boring.
I like that grass is green, says this very intellectual human. Good on him.
That's the fact that I didn't get that I wanted to say.
What, grass is green?
No, I didn't get through all my facts. It doesnent matter. One fact I want to say, which I find interesting, is with how big this film was. Kurosawa actually went to Ishihiro Honda for advice on how to film with scale. That name is familiar if you know the person who directed the original Godzilla.
Oh, cool.
They were mates.
That's pretty sweet.
So he was like, "Yeah, mate, how do I do a film this big?"
And he's like, "I don't know. I've only ever filmed a guy in a suit. I don't actually."
He goes to set and he goes, "Jesus Christ, Akira!" It's like, what you had a monster destroy a city? He goes, "Mate, that was a bloke in a suit and a miniature." What do you mean?
He's like, yeah. So here's the thing, Akira. I don't actually film a big lizard. It's a dude in a suit. He's currently playing against Charles Barkley in a basketball advert.
And he's like, "Oh," and he goes, "Mate, you just built a castle and you're burning it down.
Yeah.
What do you mean?"
If someone, I mean by someone I mean you, if you could find the Charles Barkley Godzilla advert that I'm talking about and put it over the top of me saying that, please, that'd be fantastic.
Oh, I'll see if I can be arsed, Robbie.
It's a very it's a very specific memory I have. So if you can find that, that'd be great.
Another piece of trivia that I wanted to say about this film
go on.
is that Sidney Lumet once
Oh, yeah.
said, he said that Akira Kurosawa told him about when making the film. Lumet was like, how did you go about framing that one shot? That was so cool. It was like, Sidney, because if you move the camera slightly to the left, you would have seen an airport. And if you move the camera slightly to the right, you would have seen the Sony factory. So that was the only fucking thing else.
What a lesson to be learned, eh?
Yeah, it wasn't like, that was so, how intricate. It's like, you would have seen.
I couldn't go anywhere else.
That's what you want to hear, I think, more so with these things. Half a star. Though perhaps more interesting than the rest of Kurosawa's post-1963 works, film lacks a plot, thereby making it fairly listless and quite overlong. Peter is horrendous, the jester guy. Story flow and characterization are clear, yet characters' development and relationships can often be confusing and unnatural. Has some dumb story choices, especially in later acts. A swing and a miss film, which also suffers much from content. Rating F. Why'd you have to? Why'd you have to do it? Why are you on Letterboxd and you're giving us a letter rating?
Yeah, why are you doing a letter rating?
When you already are rating it through stars. Just fucking anyway.
Yeah. Fucking people.
Half a star. The fuck? I felt bad. I felt bad for how many decades for never seeing this and finally doing for a challenge, but also I bought it recently and it fucking sucks. I'm not dissing the story, but the acting and the gazillion visible bald caps, not to mention the clown makeup, and it looked clownish long before he became a clown, etc., was not good. The jester, or I think he referred to himself as nurse once, was actually the best acted bit, and maybe the confidant of the second son. But the rest, just no. I know I'm in the minority, but I choose to believe y'all are brainwashed. Smiley face.
Wow. See, I thought you were going to start off that with, the fuck? Where's Big Weld?
Got really excited.
Got really excited about it.
Half a star. Such a boring film I ever watched. I hate you, Akira Kurosawa.
Well, I hate you, Mr. Letterboxd.
Half a star. More like Walk.
Very good, because it's slow. Is that what you're saying? Very good. Good joke.
Yeah, I guess because RAN, but Walk.
Yeah.
That's
a good joke. I guess. I don't know.
I guess. What's the comment? Someone said, love this review, LMAO. Half a star. 3 hours of Japanese dudes yelling and shooting at each other. I don't know, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I don't know. I think there's more to it than that.
There's definitely more to it. And finally, half a star. I've tried at least 5 times, but nothing doing. I'll never finish watching RAN. That's a tragedy, that is. That's a tragic story, that is. I've tried 5 times. I've tried 5 times, but I'll never finish watching this film.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, that's it.
Nice.
That's the negative Letterboxd reviews for RAN. And
should I bring back the classic segment of a famous Robbie Tweedale joke?
Yeah, go on, give us a Robbie Tweedale joke.
I've just found one.
So it's not an original.
No, it's not. None of these are. You think I come up with these? Dear God.
You could have fucking like
I
pretended.
could have lied.
You could have pretended like all great. Like all
Alright,
great comedians do, Robbie. They steal.
Cut this out.
Okay.
cut that last bit out.
Okay. Cut
Okay.
and Robbie.
Oscar, do you want to hear a joke?
I would love to hear an original joke from Robbie
sign us
Tweedale.
out. I told my wife I got a job at the bowling alley. She said, 10 pin. I said, no, it's a permanent position.
I like when we just hang for a bit, just hang on the silence.
It's good, isn't it?
Just let's soak it in. And let's move on to the outro, Robbie.
Oh, come on. I wonder if...
What, you want to keep going? Do you want to keep going, do you?
Do you want me to do another one?
It's you that's being affected by this.
Oh God, I know, I'm so tired. Why am I doing this?
You also still need to send me the audio file after this as well.
Yeah, I know.
It's all you.
A clown turned up for work on late on his first day and he got sacked from the circus. He's suing for funfair dismissal. Anyway.
And the outro now. That's been the end of season 4, Robbie.
Boy, has it.
That's been what a season. We did
season.
We did 2 episodes, then like went away for months, and then we came back.
And we came back with a goddamn bang.
With the best goddamn stuff we've ever done on this podcast.
Yeah, I'm happy with this.
I'll say
season.
Sounds cool. We've established teams.
Yeah.
Should we get a refresh next week? In terms of for definites.
Next week I'll certainly have an update on some team meetings and what's been going on.
Okay, cool.
Because it's been a good 2 weeks now, and we don't know. Tyler could still be wandering the streets.
I mean,
we don't know.
I didn't say when I left the birthday party. I didn't see him home.
Exactly.
So I don't know where. No, I saw him at the boot camp. He was there, but then we parted ways after the boot camp. But I didn't see him. I didn't see him go home.
Did he look upset? Did he look like he was getting overthrown, like there was a coup?
I mean, he was a bit quiet. He was a bit like, he was. But I just thought he was tired. But then it got to like later in the day, and he was still just a bit.
Yeah.
Even Leo was like, "Are you all right, Tyler?"
Yeah. So, and did he have a little drawing of Reese that he was stabbing with a pencil?
I mean, I didn't see it happen. I'm not saying I can neither confirm nor deny that happening, but I wasn't witness to it. But yeah,
we'll see what's going on with him.
But yeah, that is the end of this season technically. But we're back literally next week. It's like last year. It's like, and that's the end of the season. But we've got a Halloween special for you next week.
See you next week for Halloween.
Yeah, so next week's Halloween special, the second annual Halloween special, will in fact be Halloween from 1978.
Yay!
We're going to be talking about that film.
Cool, man.
The whole point of that was like, coming off the excitement of Halloween Ends, we were talking about the original Halloween, but now I'm going to reword it in the sense of, let's remember when Halloween was good with the original Halloween. Let's just do
Back in the day.
Back in the day when John Carpenter directed it.
My God.
And then he was like, I don't want to do anything else. Apparently, I heard like what he's like with the Halloween films. He goes, you know what? I love when they make a new Halloween film because they tell me they're going to do a new Halloween film. And then I'm just sat on my couch and then I have my hand out and then I look and then I've just got a check in my hand. It's amazing.
What a man.
So love that dude. I think there was a point. It's like, would you ever make another film? He goes, I just like playing video games and making music. Like that's just how he lives. I think he plays Dead Space. I think that's like his big he loves just playing Dead Space. Isn't there going to be a new one of that?
There's a remake out soon, isn't there?
Oh, I bet he's hyped for that.
Yeah, he'd be buzzing. Good on you, John.
And
keep doing the Lord's work.
And then before like COVID, he just toured doing concerts and stuff where he would just play score. So it's like, what a life! What a life!
Yeah, good for that guy.
But yeah, that's Halloween next week.
Nice.
I'm not sure if Lewis will have a section. We won't have him next week because he'll be on his cruise. Okay. He'll be on his cruise next week.
He's on an Elf on a Booze cruise.
He's on
Bahamas. We've let him have his annual leave, so he's off.
Yeah, we've given him his holiday.
Yeah, we've given him annual leave.
But yeah,
maybe we'll catch up with Lewis next week on my stories.
Oh yeah, maybe, yeah.
Maybe we find out what happens when someone tries to get onto a cruise by buying a ticket with a handful of beans. Who knows?
But I believe he has something to say for this week. So, Robbie. So Lewis,
hello.
We'll put it in. We'll put your section in right now. And thank you very much, Lewis.
My name's Lewis, and I'm a big bitch. Sorry, God. Oh God.
We need a point, right? We need to do a.
Yeah.
We need a. This isn't just a recording thing, but like obviously you'll be up next weekend.
Yes, I will. Yes,
for the Tees Valley National Film Festival, you'll be there.
Yeah.
And but obviously we need a time where we need a big old reunion.
We do big time.
Late December. In December we will.
Yeah,
probably.
We get Christopher Brewster. He's knocking about.
Yeah.
T-Dog.
Oh, Tyler. I was like,
yeah.
Reese begins with R. I don't know what.
What the fuck are you talking about? Anna Bant.
Yeah, I miss Anna.
Yeah, same.
You're closer. You work every day.
Yeah. I could just go and see her now if I wanted to. She lives 20 minutes away from me. You know.
Anyway, guys, thank you all for watching and listening. It's been a great season. Tune in next week for the Halloween special where we will talk Halloween.
Nice.
Links and all that in the description for everything. Have fun. I don't know, intermission fun. If you intermission fun. If you want merch, message me. Make it known.
Yeah.
And I'll get you to pay me for it. Why so aggressive? What's happening? I don't know.
Fucking pay me for it. You want merch? You want merch? Put the money in my goddamn fucking pocket. Right?
Just give me the money and you'll get it. You'll get Kazal. And then you get Team Oscar, you get Team Robbie, which is yet to be made in the graphics. I'll do that and then we'll go from there. Hopefully see you at the Arc. If not,
yeah, man.
Forget about it. And Silent Hill is back. See you next week.
Yeah, and fuck Martin Scorsese. See you later.